Chapter 880. Shi Shang found the address. It was located in the old district of Z City. The houses here were all 4 or 5 stories high. Shi Shang searched for a long time before he found the address. The landlord was a woman in her 30s. She had a son and was going abroad to treat her son's illness. When the landlord saw that Shi Shang was a young girl, she was relieved. After signing the contract, she gave the house to Shi Shang. The house was fully furnished. Shi Shang didn't need to buy anything. She only needed to put her own things in. She found a place to live, but she was so poor she had to eat dirt. She had to eat first, then think about how to make money. Shi Shang took the key and went out. There were 4 houses on this floor. One of them was right across from Shi Shang. When she opened the door, a shadow suddenly came out of the opposite house. Seeing the girl in a white dress, Shi Shang felt like she was being f***ed. What an ill-fated relationship. Female lead, why are you here? Something's going to happen again. Chu Miao's feet didn't touch the ground. She looked at Shi Shang curiously for a few seconds. Shi Shang kept staring at her. Chu Miao floated towards Shi Shang. You can see me? In this world, Li Changyun was the only person who could see her. But this girl seemed to be able to see her. I can't see you. Shi Shang retreated and closed the door. The original owner shouldn't be able to see ghosts. Why could she see the female lead? What a bug. Chu Miao looked at the closed door and went in. Shi Shang was standing inside. She went through Shi Shang's body and floated behind her. When Chu Miao went through her body, Shi Shang felt a chill. You can see me, right? Chu Miao asked excitedly. Finally, there was another person who could see her. I can't see you. She didn't want to see the female lead at all. Chu Miao. She could answer her, but she couldn't see her. She must be able to see her. Chu Miao pouted. You can see me. Shi Shang said impatiently, what does that have to do with you? It's my own business whether I can see you or not. Do I need your permission? Why don't you admit that you can see me? Chu Miao didn't seem to notice Shi Shang's impatience. Why should I admit it? You're not my mother. Chu Miao tilts her head. Her body floats from side to side. Aren't you afraid of me? I'm a ghost. Shi Shang made an exaggerated expression of surprise. A ghost? That's amazing. You're not afraid of me. Chu Miao noticed Shi Shang's exaggerated expression and asked curiously, how can you see me? F***ck. Did this female lead have 100,000 Ys? Shi Shang said word by word, I can't see. You're pestering me. I's going to make a move. If you can hear me, how can you not see me? You're lying. I'm not lying. Where's I's sword? Shi Shang was ready to chop this female lead to death with his sword. Since they were a couple, it didn't matter how they did it. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Shi Shang hadn't even drawn her sword when the doorbell rang urgently. Bang bang bang. Then there was another loud knock on the door. Shi Shang turns his head to look at the door. Then he turns his head to look at Chu Miao. She's gone. Bang bang bang. The knocking continues. It's as if the door will be torn down if no one opens it. And the person outside has indeed torn down the door. The door is forcefully pushed open. A figure rushes in and quickly looks around the house. He doesn't even look at Shi Shang. He checks every room in the house. Shi Shang silently calls the police. After calling the police, the intruder comes downstairs and wants to go out. Shi Shang quickly blocks the door. Mr. Li, you broke into my house. Do you think you can just leave like this? What's so great about the male lead? Can the male lead just break into someone else's house? Li Chengyun's face is as dark as water. His eyes seem to be burning with anger. He doesn't even raise his head. He takes out a check from his trouser pocket and hands it to Shi Shang. Get out of my way. Who cares about your money? Shi Shang reaches out to block the check. Let's wait for the police to come. Only then did Li Changyun feel that something was wrong. He suddenly remembered how she had addressed him. Lee Changyun suddenly raises his head and looks at the girl in front of him. She has a face the size of a palm, arched eyebrows, a pair of bright eyes, and an arrogance between her eyebrows. That kind of arrogance can make people forget about her appearance. Lee Changyun frowns. Ji Luiying? This is the girl who disappeared for a month and suddenly reappeared. It seems that Mr. Lee hasn't forgotten about me. How rare. Shi Shang puts on a fake smile. Lee Changyun can tell that something is wrong from Shi Shang's tone. He didn't contact the person he was looking for, so she can't know. Then it can only be about her father's recent disappearance. Miss Ji, I'm very sorry about what happened just now. Take this as compensation. If it's not enough, you can contact my assistant. I'm in a hurry right now. Can I trouble you to move aside? Shi Shang's tone is full of provocation. This is my home. If I want to move aside, I'll move aside. If I don't want to move aside, I won't move aside. Who the hell let you barge in? You want I to move aside for you? No way. Lee Changyun's eyes flashed dangerously. Miss Ji, don't force me to fight. Come on, fight me. Shi Shang rolls up his sleeves. I've never been afraid of anyone in a fight. Not to mention an idiot like you. Lee Changyun doesn't care about fighting with women, but the woman in front of him makes his hands itch. He wants to beat her up. Lee Changyun feels that his connection with Chu Miao is getting weaker and weaker. Chu Miao is about to leave this area. He has to find her quickly. Lee Changyun tugs at his bow tie and stares at Shi Shang darkly. He suddenly makes a move. Shi Shang easily blocks his attack, but because he doesn't have enough strength, he can't immediately counterattack. Instead, he is forced to the door. Miss Ji, you're no match for me. I don't want to fight with women. Move aside. Bah. Shi Shang flicks his bangs. Is the person who just fought with me an idiot? Yes, you're an idiot. Lee Changyun. He wants to beat her up even more. The police arrive half an hour later. The first thing they see when they enter is a mess. Then they see the man who is tied up and thrown on the ground. The police are a bit confused. What's going on? Is this the victim's family? Did the robber run away? Shi Shang comes out of the kitchen with a glass of water. The police immediately point their guns at Shi Shang. Don't move. Shi Shang. The police had a hard time figuring out what's going on. They don't believe that a CEO would break into someone else's house. But according to the scene investigation, the door was indeed forcefully broken. I'm as beautiful as a flower. Who knows what he wants to do by breaking in? I'm acting in self-defense. The police. They don't see a beautiful flower, they only see a messy and unkempt girl. Chapter 881. When Shi Shang threatened to sue Lee Changyun, Lee Changyun's team of lawyers worked together and managed to get Lee Changyun out after much difficulty. After all, Shi Shang's accusations went from trespassing to indecent assault. How could a normal person fight against Shi Shang? Lee Changyun suffered a loss, but he could only swallow it. However, Lee Changyun definitely wouldn't let it go. From the way he kidnapped the original host, this male lead was a ruthless character. Shi Shang returned to his residence. The landlord was standing outside with an ugly expression. Miss Ji, the landlord shouted angrily, it's only been a day, and you've already ruined my house? Shi Shang felt wronged, but he still apologized. After all, she was the one who broke other people's things. Although the male lead was partly to blame, she was the one responsible. As a person, she couldn't shirk responsibility when it was time to take responsibility. The landlord saw her good attitude and calmed down a bit. This is Lee Changyun's compensation. Shi Shang handed the check to the landlord. The landlord waved his hand. Forget it, I don't want these things anymore. You can keep them. However, I can't rent this house to you anymore. We're preparing to move abroad, so we have to sell this house. Damn it! There's no place to live again? The landlord came today to talk about this, but she didn't expect to see such a scene. At first, she was quite angry, but Sher Shang's attitude was very good, and there was an outsider as a witness. It had nothing to do with the girl. She also knew that it was hard for girls to survive in society, and she didn't lack money. Miss G, I'm not trying to make things difficult for you. It was my husband's decision, so I can't do anything about it. Sher Shang was once again on the streets. Sher Shang left the check behind. He didn't take bribes if he didn't do anything. So poor. So poor that she wanted to eat dirt. Would she be faster at robbing, or faster at robbing? Thinking about how she was being held at gunpoint by a group of police officers, she decided to just make money. What's wrong with you? A head suddenly popped out from behind Sher Shang. She subconsciously slapped out, but her palm passed through the other person's head. Her entire hand was frozen stiff, as if it had been placed in an ice cellar. She quickly pulled her hand back. Damn, the female lead is poisonous. Chu Miao floated to the front. What are you doing here? It's none of your business. Why are you so fierce? Sher Shang said coldly, I'm just that fierce. Chu Miao pouted. But I feel that you are very lonely. Sher Shang looked at Chu Miao without changing his expression. Chu Miao smiled and said, I can feel that you are very lonely. She lowered her voice. Same as me. Other than Li Changyun, she had no one to talk to. Don't you have Li Changyun? Sher Shang shifted into a more comfortable position. How do you know him? Chu Miao exclaimed. Chu Miao was so surprised that Sher Shang's temples jumped. Yes. Then are you a Taoist? No wonder you can see me. Will you accept me? Chu Miao floated around the Sher Shang and asked one question after another. Sure enough, only the male lead could stand such a chattering female lead. Chu Miao asked a series of questions, but Sher Shang didn't answer any of them. Chu Miao wasn't discouraged. Li Changyun wanted to use me, but I didn't know what he wanted to do with me. That's why I ran away. Damn, the female lead already knew about the male lead scheme? According to the plot, the female lead should only know about it at the end. Then, she and the male lead would have a life and death relationship, and the male lead would suddenly realize that he loved the female lead. Then, it would be a happy ending. Chu Miao wasn't stupid. On the contrary, she was able to see through many things. She was also very decisive. After knowing that Li Changyun wanted to use her, she immediately ran away from him. Do you want to sleep here? Chu Miao was still chattering. Strange things often appear here. You'd better go somewhere else. Can it be stranger than you? Sher Shang rolled his eyes and said fiercely, If you don't leave, I'll accept you. Chu Miao shrank back. She looked at the towering buildings behind her and hesitated. Okay. Be careful. I'll come find you tomorrow. Thank you for talking to me. You really should go somewhere else. Asterisk flips table asterisk you were the only one talking the whole time. I didn't say a word. Wait. A ghost. Chu Miao waved her hand and floated away. Sher Shang sat up from the chair and looked behind him. This place seemed to be a hospital. Hospitals had a lot of ghosts. But she didn't see anything strange. She could only see Chu Miao. She couldn't see any other ghosts. Why do I feel like I've become the male lead? Illusion, it must be an illusion. Sher Shang took out the iron sword. With the iron sword, even if there were ghosts, they wouldn't dare to come near. Tomorrow, I'll find a way to make money. I don't want to eat dirt. I don't want to sleep on the streets. Wait, there are so many things in I space. Can't I just sell them? So was she mentally retarded before? She must have been scared in Chu village. I'll sell them tomorrow. To avoid trouble, Sher Shang moved somewhere else. It was better to stay away from the hospital. Since he didn't need to save money, Sher Shang immediately went to book a room. Standing by the window, Sher Shang could see the hospital buildings across the street. He didn't know if it was because of the light, but he always felt that it was much gloomier than here. In the middle of the night, Sher Shang seemed to hear a ghost crying and howling in the distance. He got up from the bed and pulled open the curtain to look outside. There was nothing strange outside. He stood for a while, then put down the curtain and turned around. Just as he put down the curtain, there seemed to be a fog outside the window. It swept past the window quickly and disappeared into the night. Sher Shang stood by the bed and watched the fog disappear through the gap of the curtain. What was that? Was it following her or just passing by? Sher Shang pondered for a while and decided to wait and see. If it was really following her, it would definitely appear again. It was definitely not a wise move to chase after it. Well, sleep. Sher Shang stuck some talismans in the room and went to bed. The next day, as soon as Sher Shang turned on the TV, the news was about a suicide in the hospital. This was already the third suicide incident in this hospital. It was understandable that some people in the hospital couldn't bear the shock and wanted to commit suicide. However, it was strange that there were 3 suicides in a row. Sher Shang looked at the time of the suicide. It was not long before she saw the fog. There must be a conspiracy. Are you watching this too? Chu Miao suddenly came out from the wall. Sher Shang. Scared to death. She glanced at the talismans at the door. How did you get in? Ah. Chu Miao looked at Sher Shang in confusion and pointed at the wall. I just got in. Sher Shang took out some talismans and was about to put them on Chu Miao. Chu Miao was shocked and quickly disappeared through the wall. After a while, she popped her head out and stammered, Are you going to take me in? Chapter 882. Collect my ass. You can ignore these talismans. This is not a skill a ghost should have. Even if you're the female lead, it's still impossible. This is against the rules of the market. Let's see if I can kill you with a slap. Sher Shang walked into the wall with the talisman. Chu Miao retracted her head and popped out from the other side. Of course I can. If I die, no one will talk to you. Sher Shang's mouth twitched. There were many people who wanted to talk to her. You're immune to these talismans. Sher Shang pointed at the talisman at the door. Come here and let me slap you. Let's see if you're really immune. She looked at the talisman at the door. Ever since she became a ghost, the only person she met who could see ghosts was Li Chengyun. How could she recognize talismans? But the talisman looked similar to the ones in TV shows. No. Chu Miao shook her head. What if she died? Sher Shang shrugged and put the talisman away. He put on his clothes and left the room. Chu Miao looked at Sher Shang's back for a while before she floated to follow him. There was no one in the corridor outside. Chu Miao couldn't hold back and went to talk to Sher Shang. What's your name? I still don't know your name. You're really a Taoist. Chu Miao's voice stopped abruptly. She froze on the spot. The yellow talisman hanging from her forehead covered most of her face. Sher Shang's hand was still pressing between her eyebrows. Chu Miao was frightened at first, then she became nervous. But she didn't feel any pain. She tilted her head and moved her forehead away from Sher Shang's hand. Did you draw the wrong talisman? Miss, what are you doing? The cleaning lady came out from the next room and looked at Sher Shang, who was in a weird posture. Sher Shang calmly took back his hand. I think there's bad luck here. I'm helping you get rid of it. Don't thank me. Call me Lei Feng. The cleaning lady was speechless. Which mental hospital did he come from? Should she call the police or not? Sher Shang maintained his elegant posture and left the cleaning lady's sight. After leaving the hotel, Sher Shang first found a large jewelry store. It was sunny outside, but Chu Miao was not afraid at all. She followed Sher Shang closely. Miss, what can I do for you? As soon as the Sher Shang entered, someone came up to greet her in a friendly and polite manner. Sher Shang nodded slightly. I have something to sell. Large jewelry stores like this usually recycle things, so the waiter didn't find it strange that Sher Shang said that. Miss, this way please. Sher Shang was led into a reception room. Miss, please wait for a moment. I'll get our appraiser. What kind of items do you want to sell, miss? Sher Shang took out a small piece of jade from his clothes. The attendant smiled. Please wait for a moment, Mississippi. The reception room soon quiets down. Chu Miao floats to the table and sits down. She asks the question that she has been holding back all the way. Was the talisman drawn wrong? Shi Shang glanced at her. Do you want to know? Chu Miao nodded vigorously. Shi Shang smiled and said, I'm not telling you. Why? Chu Miao curled her lips. I won't laugh at you. Shi Shang tapped the table with his fingertips and looked at her with a faint smile. Haven't you noticed that you're different from other ghosts? Are you talking about the fact that I can see sunlight? Chu Miao blinked. I've been like this since the first day I became a ghost. I don't know why. But... Sorry to keep you waiting. The door was suddenly pushed open, interrupting Shi Shang. Chu Miao shut her mouth and watched Shi Shang talking with the appraiser. She watched Shi Shang continuously take out things, which made the appraiser go crazy with joy. But in the end, the appraiser said that they might not be able to get the money in time because of the high value of one of the items. However, if Shi Shang wanted to sell it, they could arrange it. The first two items were enough for Shi Shang, so Shi Shang took back the last one. The appraiser quickly settled the bill and respectfully sent Shi Shang out. After leaving the jewelry store, people came and went outside. Chu Miao didn't dare to ask, so she followed Shi Shang to buy a house and various other things. Shi Shang spent money like water. When Chu Miao was alive, her family wasn't very well off. Even when she was with Li Chengyun, she didn't see him spend money like this. Did she pick up her money from the ground? Shi Shang didn't know what she bought. After all, she didn't have much money left. After entering the neighborhood, Chu Miao finally dared to speak. What did you want to say? Shi Shang pressed the elevator button. You're different from other ghosts. She dragged out the word. You're a living soul. Ding. Shi Shang entered the elevator. Chu Miao floated in just before the doors closed. What do you mean I'm a living soul? Simply put, you're still alive. It's just that your soul has left your body. If you find your body, you'll come back to life. Shi Shang explained simply. Living souls didn't react to talismans, but there were talismans that specifically targeted living souls. After a while, Chu Miao squeezed out a sentence. You mean I'm not dead? Ding! The elevator door slowly opened. Shi Shang's voice overlapped with the sound of the elevator door. Maybe. She stepped out of the elevator and was greeted by a gust of cold wind. Shi Shang couldn't help but shiver. She looked at the corridor. There was plenty of light. Sunlight shone in from the outside, but it was inexplicably cold. She didn't feel this way when she came to see the house before. Shit, did she buy a haunted house? Shi Shang opened the door and went in. Chu Miao followed behind in a daze. When Shi Shang was about to close the door, she suddenly floated over. Am I really not dead? How could she not be dead? She clearly remembered. How did she die? Chu Miao suddenly felt confused. She only remembered that she was dead, but she didn't remember how she died. How do I know if you're dead or not? Get out. I's not the male lead. What's the point of telling me? Chu Miao was frightened by Shi Shang's gaze. She couldn't help but step back and watch the door close. He's so fierce. Chu Miao murmured. She walked around the corridor and found a place to squat. The cold wind blew in the corridor. Chu Miao squatted for a while and then boldly floated into Shi Shang's house. But this time, she bumped into the wall. Chu Miao touched her forehead and reached out to touch the wall in front of her. It was no different from touching the wall. Could she touch the real thing? Chu Miao ran to the next door to try, but she couldn't get in. So it wasn't that she could get in, but that there was something wrong with that house. She had those talismans, so there must be talismans that could restrain her. Chu Miao was a little disappointed. She thought she could touch the real thing. Alas! She lowered her head and was about to leave the house. But when she turned around, a black shadow rushed towards her. Asterisk monthly votes. 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 Warm the bed. It's too cold. Ah. Chapter 883. The next day, Shi Shang went out and saw Chu Miao in a mess in the corridor. Her white dress was torn in several places, and her hair was messy. She was curled up in a corner, looking very pitiful. Seeing Shi Shang, Chu Miao immediately stood up with a weird expression. She seemed to be afraid of something, so she pursed her lips and didn't speak. Shi Shang glanced at her and walked towards the elevator. Chu Miao hurried to follow him and said in a low voice, "Let's take the stairs." Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. His eyes were glittering like stars, but there was no ripple in them. He looked at her calmly. Chu Miao swallowed. Yes. Chu Miao suddenly felt very uncomfortable and couldn't speak. She reached out her hands and scratched in the air. Then she grabbed her neck, as if something was strangling her. Shi Shang saw Chu Miao struggling. He reached out and grabbed the cold air around Chu Miao. It seemed that he had touched something scary and quickly retreated. Ahem. Without something around her neck, Chu Miao gasped instinctively. She sounded frightened and almost sobbing. "Something is trying to hurt you. Leave here. Don't take the elevator." Shi Shang looked at the place where the cold air had retreated. "That idiot Mu Bai?" Shi Shang walked towards that direction. Chu Miao immediately floated in front of him. Her face was pale. "Where are you going?" "I'm going to see which idiot wants to hurt me," Shi Shang said arrogantly. "Stay here." "No, you can't go." Chu Miao stood in front of Shi Shang. "He's very powerful." Hey, wait." Shi Shang ignored Chu Miao and walked directly to the door next to hers. She looked at the door plate. She remembered that this house was not sold when she bought it. Chu Miao was a little scared of the thing that had threatened her yesterday, so she could only stand far away. "Don't go in. He wants to kill you." "Too many people want to kill me." Shi Shang snorted. He took out his iron sword and forced the door open. A gust of cold wind rushed out when the door was opened. The cold wind lifted her hair, but it didn't cause any ripples in her eyes. The houses here were all exquisitely furnished. You could just pick up your bag and move in. However, this house was empty. There was nothing inside. There was a heavy chill in the room. Shi Shang stepped into the room, but the cold air lingering in the room seemed to be afraid of her and retreated. Finally, they all gathered in one room. Just as Shi Shang was about to step into the room, a loud crash was heard. Shi Shang rushed into the room in a few steps. The glass of the window was broken. Some of the broken glass fell inside, reflecting the scattered light. The room was also no longer filled with the cold air. F***CK. Why do I feel like it's that idiot Mu Bai? Shi Shang leaned close to the window and stuck her head out to take a look. The sun was shining brightly outside, and nothing strange could be seen. There are always idiots who want to harm me. Fear. As soon as Shi Shang stepped out of the room, the elevator opened, and several property management personnel in uniform came out. They stared at Shi Shang. Shi Shang wanted to say that she didn't do it, but she didn't know if these people would believe her. Obviously, they didn't believe her. The surveillance camera showed that she was the one who broke down the door and looted everything inside. The property management personnel immediately called the police. Shi Shang only admitted that she broke the door, but she didn't admit anything else. She didn't do it, so why should she admit it? "Miss G, why did you break the door?" Shi Shang rolled her eyes. "I don't like it." The police officer was speechless. "Do you have to break someone's door if you don't like it?" "Miss G, please cooperate with us," the police officer said sternly. "Do you know that you are committing a serious crime?" "I didn't kill anyone. What's so serious about it?" The police officer's mouth twitched. "To you, killing someone is serious, right? Your actions are considered burglary. Miss G, please don't hide anything. It will be very disadvantageous for you." Shi Shang rolled her eyes. "I've said it many times. I don't know how the things inside went missing. There are surveillance cameras everywhere. If I want to take those things away, how can I not leave a trace? Do you think I'm a master thief? Even if I'm a master thief, Why would I steal furniture instead of museums? The police officer was speechless. She seemed to have a point. Although the furniture was high-end, it didn't add up to more than 200,000 yuan. It couldn't be compared to the price of this house. She could even afford a house. Why would she be interested in some heavy and difficult-to-move furniture? Although the police didn't pin the missing furniture on Shishang, they still had to pay for the broken door. The property management personnel were unhappy, but they didn't have any surveillance camera evidence. After reporting it, they actually wanted to kick Shishang out. They were all important people who lived in this house. They didn't dare to let Shishang, who was a potential threat, live in the house. If something really happened, it wouldn't be something that could be solved with just a few million yuan. Shishang was speechless. What the F***ck? The other party was rich. No matter how much they had to pay, they wouldn't let Shishang stay. This was F***king awkward. If he kicked you out, you would have a reason to make a fuss. But he had to pay. And he had to pay double. He didn't understand the world of the rich. The most important thing was that many of the procedures hadn't been completed. They could go back on their word. If the procedures were completed, they wouldn't have the right to do so. Shishang thought that this was a good way to make money. They could make twice as much if they stayed here for a day. Shishang, who was once again living on the streets, was a little confused. What was wrong with her in this world? She didn't even have a place to stay. Hey! Chu Miao floated to Shishang's side. What did you see in there? Shishang was dragging a suitcase. I didn't see anything. Shishang paused and turned his head. Why did you remind me today? Chu Miao's face was still a little pale. She seemed to be floating up and down uneasily. If you die, no one will talk to me. Shishang understood. She was just a chatterbox. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down my ass. Flip the table. Have I, Bao, been reduced to chatting with others? That's not what I meant. Chu Miao waved her hand and hurriedly explained. You're innocent. I can't help him hurt you. Shishang turned his head with a stiff face and continued to drag the suitcase forward. After a while, a voice floated over. Thank you. Chu Miao let out a sigh of relief and quickly followed. Shishang found a hotel to stay in. He didn't look for a house. Chu Miao was locked out by Shishang. She paced back and forth in the corridor, not knowing where to go. Her brother's case had been settled. He was acquitted. Although he was her family, they were separated by life and death. Where could she go? Chu Miao floated back and forth in boredom. In the end, she decided to play with her own head. She used to like this, but Li Changyun didn't allow it. She had to endure this habit. Now that Li Changyun wasn't here, she could do whatever she wanted. #today's aloe vera votes #votes please. Come vote. Love you guys. Chapter 884. In the plot, Li Changyun helped Chu Miao take care of Ji Feng. That was why Chu Miao's feelings of gratitude towards Li Changyun rose to love. Now that Ji Feng was not taken care of by Li Changyun, Chu Miao naturally did not feel any gratitude towards Li Changyun. Shishang's daily routine was to earn money, sleep, and watch Chu Miao tear open her head. It was a sweet experience. Can you imagine opening the door and seeing a headless woman talking to herself while hugging her own head? Bang bang bang. Shishang was shocked. He lifted his head from the computer and looked at the door. There was still a loud knock on the door. Shishang closed the computer and stood up to open the door. As soon as he opened the door, a few men in police uniforms rushed in. They wanted to arrest Shishang without saying a word. What are you doing? Shishang retreated to the side of the bed and looked at the men coldly. Ji Luiying? We suspect that you are related to a murder case. Please come with us to assist in the investigation. Bull****. Shishang shouted. Show me your police badge. F***ck. These police officers were as weak as chickens that could be blown away by the wind. These people were big and strong, and their faces were fierce. They did not look like police officers at all. Just as they were reaching for their badges, Shang kicked the closest person in the waist. He jumped over the bed and knocked down the other two. There was another person outside the door who heard the commotion and wanted to come in to help. However, he tripped over something and fell into the room. Chu Miao poked her head out from the door. When she saw the scene in the room, her expression was strange. Shang dragged the person in and reached out to close the door. Chu Miao quickly raised her hand. Can I come in? Shang paused and tilted his head slightly. Chu Miao's face lit up and she floated in. Shang tied the men up with the bedsheet. Who sent you? Ji Luiying, you are assaulting a police officer. Do you know how serious the crime is? The man who was tied up in the front had a straight face. Let us go now, and we will pretend that nothing happened. Shang tugged at the man's collar and gave him a look of disdain. Have you ever seen a policeman with such a long and short uniform? If you have nothing to do, you should watch more police and gangster movies to increase your knowledge. Damn it, your clothes don't even fit. Where did you steal them? The man lowered his head and looked at his police uniform. Suddenly, he turned to the person next to him and shouted, I told you to look for a large size. What did you find for me? Ah, boss. No, this is the biggest one. The man who was yelled at weakly explained. The boss was furious. Which Taobao shop did you buy this from? I must give you a bad review. Boss is right. We must give him a bad review. The others agreed. Chu Miao was speechless. Were they here to be funny? Don't talk nonsense. Shang slapped his boss's head. Who asked you to come? Shang didn't seem to be very strong, but only those who were hit knew how painful it was. Boss bared his teeth for a while before his aura grew. I'll tell you the truth. We're the 13 heroic bandits, whose name terrifies everyone in the game. Shang sneered. Are you an idiot? Boss glared at him. The 13 heroic bandits. You only have 4 people. Where are the other 9? Did you eat them all? Boss turned to look at his subordinates. After a while, he reacted and shouted again, We only have 4 people. Why did you choose 13? Don't you know how to count? Boss, this name. Didn't you come up with it? The subordinates wanted to cry but had no tears. How could I come up with such a name? You want me to take the blame? Huh? Are you trying to rebel now that you've grown so bold? The 3 subordinates immediately nodded and admitted, Yes. We came up with it. It's all our fault. Boss is so wise. How could he come up with such a name? It's all our fault. Boss, don't be angry. Boss, now is not the time to talk about names. We should be united against the outside world. Shang's mouth twitched. Thank you for remembering your situation. Did these people walk into the wrong theater? Was he a criminal from a comedy movie? Why was he here at the paranormal theater? The 4 of them knelt down at the same time and said in unison, Madam, we were wrong. We just wanted to get some money to spend. We saw you coming out of the jewelry store that day, so we followed you. That day, Shang went to the jewelry store to sell something and was seen by the people who were waiting there. These people knew one of the employees and knew that Shang had a lot of money on him. That was why they came up with evil intentions. These people usually only did petty theft. Today's incident was the result of their long planning. Who knew that they would be caught the moment they made a move? Shang was used to beating people up. If there was any trouble, he would just find someone to beat. This incident should have ended there, but something happened at the police station. These people were all dead. The cause of death was a little strange. They died of suffocation. They died of suffocation in their interrogation room. The forensic autopsy said that it was physical suffocation. But how could there be physical suffocation in such a spacious interrogation room? The police checked the surveillance footage and found that there was a period of time when they couldn't check the footage. And it was during that period that the 4 suspects died. Such a strange incident was quickly reported to the higher-ups. The higher-ups sent 2 special investigation teams to investigate. All the files were handed over to these 2 people. The others were only responsible for following their instructions. Shi Shang was called in for questioning. After all, she was the last suspect to come into contact with these people other than the police. But Shi Shang couldn't be bothered to go. She wasn't a criminal. Why should she go? So the people who wanted to investigate could only come here themselves. The person who came to question her was a middle-aged man. He had a buzz cut and was neatly dressed. He looked like an easygoing person. Shi Shang invited him into the room. The middle-aged man scanned the room and then looked Shi Shang up and down. "Miss Ji, how are you? I'm Li He, an investigator from the Special Investigation Team." Shi Shang sat on the chair. "I'm very busy. Every minute was money. These policemen like to ask her to drink tea. I don't drink tea. If you don't cause trouble, who will ask you to drink tea?" Li He wasn't angry. "Miss Ji, don't be anxious. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. You just have to answer truthfully. It won't take up too much of your time." Shi Shang raised his chin. Li He flipped open the file in his hand and took out a pen to record. "Miss Ji, have you encountered anything strange recently?" After he finished speaking, he added, "Something that can't be explained by common sense and science." "Do ghosts count?" Li He's expression changed slightly. He stared at Shi Shang for a while and asked seriously, "Miss Ji, can you see ghosts?" "No." She could only see the female lead, so it shouldn't count. "Then did something happen to Miss Ji?" Li He's tone relaxed slightly. Shi Shang thought about it. There was a ghost playing outside her door every day. Did that count as something happening? "I feel like something is following me. It seems like it wants to kill me." "Following you? Miss Ji, can you tell me more? * Please vote. Chapter 885. How would I know? Shi Shang rolled his eyes and said in an unpleasant tone, "If I knew, why would I need special talents like you?" Li He's expression remained gentle, but the suspicion in his eyes grew. "Miss Ji seems to know a little about us." Shi Shang suddenly smiled at Li He. "Isn't it like this in TV dramas and novels? If you add the word special, it must be related to some strange things." Shi Shang paused. "Actually, I came from the future to save you. Would you believe me?" Li He couldn't keep his expression straight. "As if I'd believe you. Which mental hospital had this Chunibu girl been released from? Miss Ji, this is a serious matter. Please treat it seriously." Shi Shang spread his hands and said innocently, "I didn't kill them, and I can't help you catch the ghost. What else do you want me to do? Help you take the blame to cover up your incompetence? How am I not serious? What a load of nonsense." "Li He, why is there nothing nice coming out of this girl's mouth?" He took a deep breath. "Miss Ji, we won't malign you for no reason. Let's stop here for today. If you think of anything, you can call me." Looking at this girl's attitude, he definitely wouldn't be able to get anything out of her. There was no point in him staying any longer. Li He put down a business card and said seriously, "Miss Ji, this is a serious matter. I hope you can treat it seriously. It's not a joke on TV." Shi Shang tilted his head and smiled faintly. Her eyes were shining brightly from the sunlight outside, but he could only see coldness inside. "This Ji Luiying. Goodbye." Li He left Shi Shang's room and walked down the stairs. There was someone standing in the corner. Half of his body was covered in darkness. His arms were crossed and his back was against the wall. His legs were crossed and his posture was very casual. When Li He saw him, he bowed respectfully. "Captain." A low voice sounded in the stairwell. Li He took the initiative to report, "Ji Luiying seems to know about the special department. She said she saw it on TV, but she doesn't look like it. This little girl is a bit strange. Could she be a descendant of some family?" After Li He finished speaking, he shook his head. We've recorded all the descendants of the Chu family. It's impossible for us to miss anything. Li He looked at the captain and said with trepidation, "She can't be a descendant of the Chu family, right?" Back then, Chu Yinyin was pregnant. Calculating her age, she was about the same age as Ji Luiying. She's not. The captain's voice was calm but firm. Don't investigate her anymore. Captain. Li He was puzzled. How could he be so sure? The captain let go of his hand and walked down the stairs. His rhythmic footsteps rang in Li He's ears. She's not the person we're looking for. Without my permission, no one is allowed to investigate her. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Li He was startled, but in the end he still said, yes. Chu Miao only dared to stick her head out after Li He had left for a long time. She could feel that there was something oppressive about that man, so she didn't dare to get too close. Chu Miao floated to Shi Shang and whispered, I saw those 4 people outside. Who? Shi Shang was confused. It's the 4 criminals who died. Shi Shang. What does it have to do with me? Shi Shang chased Chu Miao out. She wanted to sleep. Chu Miao was locked outside and couldn't go in. She could only float down the stairs helplessly. She found the 4 people at the corner outside the hotel. No, they should be considered ghosts now. The moment Chu Miao went out, the 4 ghosts surrounded them. How was it? What did she say? Nothing. Chu Miao shook her head. She has a weird temper. I'll find a chance to talk to her. Then what should we do now? Boss pulled his hair. Can she really see us? I think so. Chu Miao wasn't sure, but she could see her. It seemed like she hadn't talked to any other ghosts besides herself for so long. She couldn't even see them. I'm not sure either. Chu Miao looked into the distance. She turned and ran. I'm leaving. Don't expect too much. Just wait for the news from the police. Right after Chu Miao left, a man ran over with a few people. He quickly looked around but didn't find anything. The bodyguards followed him. President Li? They didn't know why their president suddenly got out of the car and ran to this place. Li Chengyun stared at the place where the 4 ghosts stopped with a gloomy face. Can he see us? Boss poked the underling next to him. Why does this man look so scary? No way. The underling shook his body. He can't see us. The others also shook their bodies. In the end, they concluded stupidly, he can't see us. President Li, we're running out of time. The bodyguard reminded Li Chengyun. Li Chengyun looked away, turned around and left. Chu Miao disappeared for half a day. Shi Shang didn't see her until night time. She was in a mess, as if she had been chased. Did you get into a fight? Shi Shang held the door and asked her. Chu Miao pouted out of habit. I saw a little girl in the middle of the road. A car was about to hit her. I wanted to help her, but I was hit by the car. She didn't know how she got hit by a car. Shi Shang tentatively reached out to touch Chu Miao. His hand still went through her body. He couldn't touch her. Chu Miao looked at Shi Shang's hand that went through her body. She was a bit disappointed. She only felt it when she was hit by a car. Other than that, she didn't feel anything different. By the way, those 4 people want you to help them. Chu Miao scratched her head. They want to know how they died. I'm going to help ghosts alone? Do you have nothing better to do? Shi Shang slammed the door. Plus, those 4 wanted to rob her before. She would be crazy to help them. Being rejected again, Chu Miao sighed helplessly. This woman's temper was really weird. She still didn't know her name. Shi Shang thought those special investigators would come looking for her again. However, a few days passed and no one came looking for her. It was as if they had forgotten about her. Chu Miao had been talking about the 4 ghosts for the past few days. Shi Shang was annoyed and didn't even leave the house. Shi Shang sometimes went to pick up things from customer service, but he didn't see Chu Miao. He didn't know where she went. Why didn't the female lead stay by the male lead's side? Why did she come here? I'm not here to be the male lead. I'm here to break up the couple, okay? Asterisk little fairy. Do you have a ticket? Cherub. Take a guess. Little fairy. Yes. Cherub. Why don't you take it? Take a guess. Little fairy. I just want to quietly ask for a ticket, that's all. Chapter 886. Early in the morning, Shang heard a lot of noise outside and the sound of people walking around. She put on her clothes and opened the door. There was a crowd outside and police officers were coming in and out. Shang was confused. What was going on? Catching an adulterer? Chu Miao floated out from the crowd and stood beside Shang. She glanced at Shang and then at the crowd. Something happened. Last night, a couple had checked into a hotel room. Who would have thought that the boy would wake up and find his girlfriend missing? She was found in room 314 on their floor. The girl was naked and had been lying in the room. Her body was covered in marks. However, the girl had no recollection of what had happened last night and had no idea how she got there. According to the surveillance footage, the girl had taken the elevator to go upstairs at around midnight. She stood in front of the room for a while, then pushed the door open and went in. She did not see any strange people and the hotel receptionist confirmed that the room was not occupied. The girl had gone to an empty room in the middle of the night and had lost her memory when she woke up in the morning. She even suspected that she had been drugged and raped. This was a strange situation, so the Special Investigation Unit was called in. Li He ordered the crowd to disperse and everyone was brought to the lobby. Li He did not stay for long before he came down. He walked straight to Shang. Miss Ji, could you please move? Shang tilted his head and gave an evil smile. No. What a big sword you have. Li He took a deep breath and called for the police to bring the people nearby to other places. He sat opposite Shang and asked directly, Miss Ji, are you keeping a ghost? You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. When did you see me keeping a ghost? Li He knew that she would not admit it. He handed the phone to Shang. The screen showed that Shang was leaning against the door and there was a faint white figure beside him. Although it was not very clear, he could still make out the outline of the figure. Shang smiled. You're infringing on my portrait rights. You have to pay. Li He stared intently at Shang, trying to decipher her expression. However, from the beginning until the end, she maintained such an indifferent attitude, and her eyes were calm like water without any ripples. Miss Ji, aren't you going to explain? Li He pointed at the phone and asked in a serious tone. Maybe it's just passing by? Shang spread his hands. You won't let a ghost pass by? Sophistry. This ghost was clearly talking to her. He had seen it all. She could see and communicate with ghosts, but she had lied to him last time. This woman was indeed strange. Li He's eyes darkened. Miss Ji, ghosts aren't easy to control. I hope you can let us handle it. Go catch it yourself. I can't afford to raise the female lead's ghost. Miss Ji, do you know what you're doing? Shang said fearlessly, Mr. Li, I didn't do anything. What did I do? Even if you want to make a statement, you need evidence. I'm going to call the police if you keep spouting nonsense like that. Li He was infuriated by Shang's nonchalant attitude of, do whatever you want. He kept feeling that this girl had an evil aura about her. She looks quite obedient, but her words carry thorns. Li He was about to say something when his phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and immediately got up to leave. Shang cupped his face as he watched Li He leave. He was in a daze, and no one knew what he was thinking. Since this was not a murder case, they only asked the hotel staff not to touch the crime scene. There were no other restrictions. After such an incident, most people did not want to stay any longer. Hence, after the police took their statements, most of them chose to check out and leave. Not many people stayed. Young lady, you're quite brave. You even dared to stay here. Shi Shang was waiting for the elevator when a man spoke to her. Shi Shang glanced at the man and smiled. She walked into the elevator. "You're quite brave too." The man sighed and followed Shi Shang into the elevator. "I don't have a choice. I'm here on a business trip. I booked a room long ago. If I stayed elsewhere, the company wouldn't reimburse me." Shi Shang glanced at Chu Miao, who was playing with her head behind the man. He smiled faintly and said, "Then you have to be careful. You might meet something dirty." Chu Miao was holding the head in her hands. She raised the head slightly and looked at Shi Shang in confusion. Why did it feel like she was calling him something dirty? The man felt that Shi Shang's smile was a little creepy. The temperature in the elevator seemed to have dropped a lot. "Is there really something dirty?" The man swallowed his saliva. "Maybe there is." Shi Shang's smile deepened. His voice spread in the elevator. "If you're unlucky, you might meet it." The man felt that the surroundings were getting colder. Ding! The sound of the elevator arriving scared the man. His expression changed drastically. He did not know what he was thinking. Before the elevator doors fully opened, he ran out. Shi Shang walked out slowly. "Why did you scare him?" Chu Miao asked curiously. "Did I scare him?" "Chu Miao. You should have, right?" Shi Shang defended herself in all seriousness. "I'm just letting him take precautions. Who knows if he'll be the next one to die?" According to the rules of novels, this matter was definitely not over. Shi Shang guessed right. Someone else had an accident that night. It was the man who had drowned in the bathtub. No one had died before, but this time, someone had died. The police checked the man's room. There was no trace of anyone entering. The room was locked from the inside. It could be said that all the places that people could enter and exit were locked from the inside. This was a secret room. Shi Shang was the last person to come in contact with the man. Naturally, he was the main suspect. But the surveillance camera showed that she had not come out of the room since she entered. The police checked for a long time but found no useful information. The police took the body away. Most people had left, leaving only a small group of police officers. Just as they were about to leave, the hotel security system suddenly rang. All the doors began to close. "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" The hotel's customer service immediately jogged over and comforted them. "I'm sorry, officers. Someone has triggered the security system's alarm. The hotel's doors are controlled by the security system. They will open when the alarm is lifted." "Who is it?" The customer service shook his head. "I'm not sure. The manager has already brought people to check it out. But to trigger this alarm, it should be the anti-theft system. The police immediately ordered, "Take 2 people with you to check it out." This hotel was said to have the most advanced security system in Z City. Once someone triggered the alarm, the entire hotel would be closed. Shi Shang's face was full of, "I have already seen through the truth." He was going to close the doors and release enough. Release ghosts. Something was going to happen. Why did she choose this hotel in the first place? Chapter 887. Of course, the person who triggered the alarm was not caught. Similarly, the alarm could not be deactivated. If the alarm could not be deactivated, the door could not be opened. If the door could not be opened, the door could not be opened. The manager contacted the developer of this system, but the developer said that the technician had gone abroad for further studies. The earliest he could come back was tomorrow morning. Very good. One night was enough time for a massacre. What a trick. "I'm not leaving." The hotel had just lost someone, and now this happened. The hotel staff did not dare to stay in their rooms. They all gathered in the lobby. When they separated, there were not many people, but when they gathered together, there were quite a lot of people in the hotel. The lobby was almost full. The strangest thing was that Shi Shang saw Li Chengyun. Li Chengyun. The awesome male lead Darren. Asterisk flips table asterisk when did the male lead get in here? Director, Why are you forcing the male lead to have more scenes? I can't accept this. In the panicked crowd, Lee Chung-yoon stood tall and straight. He had an extraordinary presence, and was calm and collected. In an instant, he separated himself from the background. His eyes scanned the crowd, as if he was looking for something. Shi Shang was sitting on the sofa in the lobby. There were people in front of him, so he was blocked. Lee Chung-yoon did not notice him. He turned his head and said a few words to the bodyguard behind him, then walked towards the elevator. Shi Shang guessed that he was looking for Chu Miao. He seemed to have a strange connection with Chu Miao. He could sense Chu Miao within a certain range. How long will it take? I have a party to host. Can you afford the delay? What's wrong with your hotel? The woman's sharp voice sounded in the lobby. The noisy lobby suddenly quieted down. They all looked at the woman standing at the front desk. The customer service staff looked apologetic. He bowed slightly and replied, I'm very sorry, ma'am. The technician could not make it back in time. The woman interrupted the staff. Stop talking nonsense. When can you go out? The earliest is tomorrow morning, ma'am. Tomorrow morning? The woman's voice was sharp. Because she was angry, her delicate face was distorted. Why would I go out tomorrow morning? We are deeply sorry for the inconvenience. What's the use of apologizing? Do you know how much I've prepared for tonight? Now that you've done this, all my efforts have been wasted. The more the woman spoke, the more agitated she became. From the corner of her eye, she saw the police next door suddenly run toward them. The woman insisted on kicking up a fuss. The police and the customer service took turns to step in, and the fuss lasted for more than 10 minutes. Just you wait. The woman walked towards the elevator in her high heels. Before she left, she didn't forget to threaten them. Sister, can I sit here? A soft voice came from beside Shi Shang. She turned her head and saw a 7 or 8-year-old boy holding a sketchbook, looking at her innocently with his big eyes. Whatever. The boy had small arms and legs. He crawled to the Shi Shang and sat down. His chubby face was a little red. He smiled sweetly at Shi Shang before flipping open his sketchbook and starting to scribble on it. Sister, do you believe in ghosts in this world? It was unknown when the boy had stopped drawing. He moved closer to the Shi Shang and blinked his big eyes at the Shi Shang. How come you've seen one before? The Shi Shang raised her eyebrows. The boy's eyes lit up, and he nodded vigorously. He handed the sketchbook to the Shi Shang. Look. They don't believe me, but I can really see them and talk to them. I saw this at the kindergarten. She said she was a teacher at the kindergarten, but I've never seen her before. She's very nice and has taught me a lot. The boy pointed at the sketchbook and introduced it to the Shi Shang. This one is from around my neighborhood, but he looks a little scary, so I don't dare to talk to him. And this one, I saw her at the park. This. The corner of the Shi Shang's mouth twitched as she looked at the sketchbook. Other than the different colors, she couldn't tell who was who. Some children could see when they were young, but as they grew older, this ability would disappear. For this boy to be able to see at 7 or 8 years old, he must have a natural talent. Sister, you don't believe me either? The boy saw that the Shi Shang didn't say anything, so he looked at her pitifully. The Shi Shang turned sideways. Can you see ghosts in the hotel? The boy tilted his head, turned his gaze to the lobby, and shook his head. Not here. Not here. So he had seen other ghosts in the hotel? Where did you see them? The boy glanced at the Shi Shang cautiously, and he stuttered. I saw a ghost following sister. Wasn't it Chu Miao who was following her? Chu Miao had been following her all day. If this child could see ghosts, it wouldn't be strange for her to see her. He's very scary, the boy said again, and his voice was even lower. I also saw him kill other ghosts. The more the boy spoke, the more Shi Shang felt that something was wrong. How could Chu Miao, a naive girl, kill ghosts? No. Was that ghost a boy or a girl? A boy. Shi Shang felt a chill run down his spine. Damn it, which idiot wants to trick I? She couldn't see ghosts, but she could feel a chill when a ghost approached. The stronger the ghost, the stronger the chill. If there was really a ghost following her, it must be very far away. If that was the case, how do you know it's following me? If it was following her from a distance, the boy shouldn't be able to tell at his age. The boy blinked, and his big watery eyes were filled with innocence and confusion. I saw it standing outside sister's room. I saw it several times. Shishang. Thinking about what happened last time, Shishang felt that the ghost following her was very likely the same one, and it could also be that idiot Mu Bai. That idiot always wanted to cause trouble behind her back. This time, she had to teach him some manners. Xiao Yu. A woman hurriedly squeezed through the crowd and held the boy in her arms. Didn't I tell you not to run around? Why are you so disobedient? Mommy. The boy stuck out his tongue. I'm tired from standing. I want to sit for a while. But you can't not tell Mommy. The woman touched Xiao Yu's head. Don't do this again. Do you hear me? Mommy will be worried. I know, Mommy. The woman heaved a sigh of relief. She looked at Shishang and nodded slightly. Xiao Yu didn't cause any trouble, did he? Shishang smiled and shook his head. Say goodbye to your sister. The woman picked Xiao Yu up. Goodbye, sister. Xiao Yu waved his hand. He thought for a while and handed the sketchbook in his hand to Shishang. Sister, this is for you. We're friends from now on. Everyone else didn't believe that he could see ghosts. Only this sister believed him. He liked this sister. It's a child's doodle. Miss, if you don't mind, please accept it, the woman explained. She was probably afraid that Shishang would find it strange. Thank you. Shishang took the sketchbook and took out a pendant from his pocket. He put it on Xiao Yu. This will protect you. May you be safe and healthy. Chapter 888. Shishang flipped through Xiao Yu's sketchbook. It was almost finished. There were crooked words written on it, indicating the location and time. When he flipped to the back, Shishang saw a very abstract figure. It should be a man. His whole body was black, and there were black marks all around. The location was this hotel. Her room number. Shishang stared at it for a long time. He could barely tell that it was a person. The next few pictures were the same, but the time was different. Shishang closed the sketchbook, got up, and walked upstairs. Miss G, it's best if you don't leave the lobby. A policeman recognized her and reminded her. The hotel said that the alarm was triggered by someone, which meant that it was man-made. Maybe there were criminals in the hotel. Got it. Shishang answered, but her steps did not stop as she continued to walk up the stairs. When he returned to his floor, Chu Miao was standing outside his room. She was floating back and forth, looking very anxious. When Shishang came out, she immediately rushed over. Li Chengyun is here. What should we do? I can feel him. You're that scared of him? Shishang raised his eyebrows. Chu Miao's expression changed. I'm not scared of him. I just... Chu Miao yelled like a frightened little hen. I just don't want to see him. Who knows what he wants to do with me? After yelling, Chu Miao's aura weakened. Li Chengyun and I have a contract. If he catches me, I can't do anything. Then run. They were in all directions. She could run wherever she wanted. Why would she be afraid of not being able to escape? No matter how strong Li Chengyun was, he was still a person. Run. Chu Miao's expression became even worse. I can't get out of here. If I could run, I would have done it already. Shishang. When she met Li Chengyun before, she really did run if she could. This was the first time he saw a female protagonist running away when she met a male protagonist. What do you mean we can't get out? They couldn't get out of the door, but ghosts didn't use the door. We can't get out. There's a layer of black fog outside. The black fog can swallow us. Chu Miao's expression changed as she spoke. Li Chengyun is here. What should we do? What should we do? Chu Miao floated upward. When the elevator door opened, the last bit of Chu Miao's skirt disappeared into the ceiling. Shi Shang looked in the direction of the elevator. It was empty. No one was inside. There's a ghost. The clock ticked away. Shi Shang laid on the bed, not feeling sleepy at all. She sat up, scratched her head, got off the bed, and left the room. Shi Shang went to the hall to get some food. It was not yet midnight, and there were still many people in the hall, but some of them had gone back to their rooms to rest. Hello, Miss G. Shi Shang bit his spoon and mumbled, What? Damn it. Why can't you let me eat something nice? Miss G, Officer Li wants to talk to you. The policeman handed over a phone. Shi Shang stared at the phone for a moment, then took it and put it to his ear. Spit it out. Miss G, it's an emergency. I hope you can help us in the hotel. He did not waste any time and went straight to the point. We detected a very strong aura of resentment in the hotel. If we can't subdue it in time, everyone in the hotel will be in danger, including you. You want me to help? Shi Shang put down his spoon and supported his face with his hand. You're asking for my help. Miss G, you're not just helping us. You're also helping yourself. He did not want to negotiate with this woman, but if he did not say anything, no one would come. Shi Shang's voice was neither fast nor slow. I'm not afraid of death, and there are so many people who will die with me. I'm lucky. Why should I help you? Shi Shang threw the phone to the policeman next to him and focused on eating his food. Sounds came from the phone. The policeman was stunned for a while before he answered. Officer Li. Give her the phone. Before he could finish, the woman did not answer the phone. She was too arrogant. The policeman wanted to pass the phone to her again, but just as he stretched out his hand, Shi Shang gave him a threatening look. The policeman's heart pounded wildly. He put the phone back to his ear. Officer Li. Miss G is not answering. There seemed to be something broken on Li He's end. The policeman's scalp went numb when he heard it. Those two people from the Special Investigation Unit were treated with respect by their superiors. They did not know where they came from. Shi Shang had not finished eating when the lobby was in chaos. A customer service representative stood in front of the policeman in a panic. After hearing what the customer service representative said, the policeman immediately sent people upstairs. Another person had died. This time, it was the woman who had caused trouble at the front desk. 10 minutes ago, she had called the customer service representative to send food upstairs. However, when the customer service representative sent the food upstairs, they found her room door open. That woman was already dead. She was lying on the bed with a knife in her back. It was a fruit knife that the hotel had left in the room. The bed was covered in blood. The policeman ordered everyone to stay at the scene and to go to the rooms below. Shi Shang slowly climbed up the stairs. After everyone had left, he pushed the people in the stairwell away. The smell of blood still lingered in the air. Shi Shang stepped on the soft carpet and walked toward the room where the crime had occurred. The closer he got to the room, the stronger the smell of blood. A chilly wind blew from the end of the corridor. It was bone-chilling. The lights above his head flickered non-stop. Shi Shang did not stop. He continued to walk toward the room. Just as he stood outside the door, the chilly wind that had been lingering in the corridor suddenly became stronger. With a bang, the corridor was plunged into darkness. Shi Shang quickly took out his iron sword and swung it behind him. The iron sword seemed to have hit something. It was a little sluggish. Ah! A shrill scream filled his eardrums. B*TCH, mind your own business. The sound seemed to come from all directions. Wave after wave, it hit his eardrums. Shi Shang followed his instinct and swung his sword to the side again. Go to hell. B*TCH, go to hell. Shi Shang felt something wrap around his wrist. It quickly spread to his neck and tightened violently. It seemed to want to strangle him. But that feeling disappeared quickly. He was pulled by someone and knocked against the wall. The iron sword hit the door beside him with a loud bang. She Shang steadied herself. A black shadow swayed in front of her. She felt as if she had gone from midsummer to winter. It was so cold that she shivered. It was him. She Shang swung his iron sword and pounced on the black shadow. The closer he got to him, the more She Shang felt that something was wrong. Before he could react, the iron sword had already swung down. The cold light flashed across the corridor. The black shadow seemed to have been split in half and dissipated in the air. The screams suddenly stopped. Only the chilly wind was left. The chilly wind was mixed with the smell of blood. It was nauseating. *Ah, the Feng Ci you want is coming online. But I'm stuck. Ha ha ha. Don't talk and vote. Pretend that I'm not here. Chapter 889. The extinguished lights lit up one by one. The entire corridor was empty. There was nothing at all. It was as if what she saw just now was an illusion. She Shang retracted his iron sword and propped it against the ground. She couldn't have been wrong. It was that idiot Feng Ci. How could he secretly follow her for so long? King idiot. BZZT BZZT BZZT. The lights above her started to flicker again. The corridor was faintly discernible in the weak light, looking eerie and strange. Finally, it fell into darkness with a bang. There seemed to be screams coming from downstairs. The sound pierced through the floors and made one's scalp tingle. The entire hotel was in a state of panic. The angered ghost harmed people everywhere. Everyone was gathered in the lobby. The police frantically called outside. At first, they could still make calls, but they couldn't hear what was being said. Later on, there was no signal at all. Miss G, is Miss G there? The police shouted at the top of his lungs. But no one in the noisy crowd responded. I'll go up and find her. The police gritted his teeth. Li He had told him that if anything happened, he could find Ji Luiying. Even if he had to beg her, he had to ask her to help. Although he didn't really understand why, he had to take a gamble in the current situation. We don't know what's going on upstairs. You can't go up rashly. Someone pulled back the volunteer police officer. The people's police had to protect the people. At times like this, they had to disregard life and death. Bring a gun. The other party cut him off and stuffed a gun into his hands. The police officer's unfinished lines died in his stomach. He gripped the cold gun and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If there was really a ghost, could this gun deal with it? She Shang was climbing the stairs. At this time, taking the elevator would be suicide. The entire hotel was pitch black. This eerie place was very suitable for a fight. She Shang went through the rooms one by one. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Gotcha. She Shang shone his flashlight into the room where the sound came from. He swaggered over and slashed the door open with his sword. How is this supernatural language? This is crossing the line of fire. She Shang scanned the room with his flashlight. There was nothing inside. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. The voice came from the next room again. She kicked the She Shang all the way. Every time she kicked a room, the sound would change. Flip the table. So what if ghosts can pass through walls? She Shang held the flashlight in his mouth and started to take something out of his pocket. She threw the iron sword away and waved a few talisman papers in her hand. The talisman papers automatically circled around the iron sword. After 3 revolutions, they wrapped around the iron sword. The talisman paper emitted a red light. Rings of light rippled from the tip of the iron sword, penetrated the walls and the floor, and spread up, down, left and right. She Shang took a step back and swung his iron sword slightly. The tip of the sword slowly turned and pointed at a room at the end of the hall. Go and kill it. She Shang ordered the iron sword calmly. Buzz. The iron sword protested. Why was it again? Did it have to be a professional fighter now? It was just a sword. Although the iron sword was reluctant, it was forced to do so by Shi Shang's abuse of power. The iron sword was no less violent than its owner. It violently slashed the door open. After a few screams, there was only the sound of cracking. Shi Shang was about to go over when a shadow suddenly appeared in front of her. Her neck was grabbed by a cold hand and pushed against the wall. A cold body pressed against Shi Shang's body. The coldness made her feel like she was stuffed into a freezer and was about to freeze into a popsicle. Shi Shang raised her hand and hit the other party. Mother **K, I haven't seen you in a plane, but you dare to hit me? Let go of me. Shi Shang raised her head. She was a little uncomfortable. Her voice was squeezed out from between her teeth. Instead of letting go, the other party tightened his grip. He pulled Shi Shang into his arms with his other hand. His clear voice, accompanied by a gust of cold air, rushed into Shi Shang's ears. Good girl, it'll be over soon. Over soon my ass. Shi Shang's body was stiff from the cold. She struggled to take out a few talismans from her space and slapped them on his body without hesitation. The talismans glowed as soon as they touched his body. The hand that was strangling Shi Shang loosened. Shi Shang took the opportunity to grab his hand and pressed him against the wall. What do you want? His teeth chattered. The talismans did not cause him much damage, but he did not move and allowed Shi Shang to imprison him. He tilted his head, and the hood on his head slipped down. The red light that had yet to dissipate swept across his silver hair and dyed it a faint red. He pursed his lips slightly. His drooping hair covered one of his eyes, while the other stared straight at Shi Shang. I's asking you a question. What did you want to do just now? Shi Shang frowned. This idiot definitely wanted to kill her just now. His lips parted slightly. I want you to be with me. You want me to be with you, so you want to kill me? What kind of logic was this? Alright, that idiot Feng Xi's logic had always been like this. This was not the first time he wanted to kill her. Shi Shang was a little confused. You're a human, and I'm a ghost. You can only be with me when you're dead. Who told you that? Haven't you heard of unresolved love between humans and ghosts? **CK this idiot. He shook his head. My mother told me that. Shi Shang. This is so frustrating. Why did she fall for such an idiot? I want a refund. I want a refund. I'll let go of you. Don't try to kill me again. Shi Shang glared at him fiercely. Fine. If you dare to kill me, I'll never agree to be with you. Shi Shang cut him off. He thought for a moment. All right then. Shi Shang let go of him and took a few steps back. What's your name? Guiwei. Guiwei as in returning. Guiwei as in bright moon. He put his hat back on, covering his silver hair and face. Guiwei. This was the biggest antagonist in the novel. The Lord of the Underworld, the Ghost King Guiwei. There wasn't much information about him. In the later stages of the novel, he had always been against the male lead. In the end, the male lead had dealt with him very badly. In the end, he had been suppressed under the 18 levels of hell and suffered the pain of being burned by fire every day. Ji Luiying. I know. Guiwei's hands tightened under the black robe, and waves of coldness surged out from her body. Shi Shang looked over. Guiwei immediately let go of her hands and retracted her coldness. Shi Shang walked towards the room where the iron sword was. How long have you been following me? Guiwei followed behind him, her feet not touching the ground. She thought for a moment before answering, 153 days and 17 hours. 5 months ago? **CK. That was when she had just returned to City Z. Was it you last time? Shi Shang paused and turned to look at her. Guiwei was silent for a moment. Yes. He should kill her so that she could be with him. But he didn't want to go against her words. How strange. Shi Shang ground his teeth. Very good. This idiot had wanted to kill her back then. I'll deal with you later. Chapter 890. The room was a mess. A blurry figure was forced into a corner by the iron sword. The moment She Shang entered, the blurry figure began to tremble. Of course, she was not afraid of She Shang, but of Gue Yu, who had floated in behind She Shang. Probably because the resentment was too strong, She Shang could also see her. It was a woman, wearing a bright red dress. Her feet were bare, and her hair was loose, covering most of her face. She fit the image of a female ghost very well. Probably because of the fight with the iron sword just now, her red dress was torn and tattered all over. The woman's face was pale, and she was trembling. Her eyes were filled with malevolence and unwillingness. It was bad enough that she met a ghost king, but she also met such a strange sword. The female ghost shrank into a ball and stared at Gue Yu warily. Gue Yu slowly reached out her hand. The female ghost's expression changed, and she immediately knelt on the ground. "Ghost King, please spare my life. I did not mean to fight you. I know I was wrong. Ghost King, please spare my life." Gue Yu did not listen to the female ghost's explanation. She closed her hand, and the female ghost's expression froze. Her body suddenly exploded, dispersing into a cloud of black fog. The black fog seemed to want to rush towards Gue Yu. Gue Yu waved her hand, and the black fog enveloped the surroundings. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared completely. This series of actions flowed smoothly, so fast that She Shang could only look at her in confusion. Gue Yu retracted her hand into the black robe, and her voice rang out in the room. "She wanted to kill you. So I killed her." He would not allow anyone who wanted to hurt her to exist. She could only belong to him, from her body to her heart. Gue Yu tugged on the black robe and stepped back a little. "Did you kill those 4 people as well?" The 4 criminals who had died inexplicably. Gue Yu tilted her head, as if thinking about who she was talking about. After a while, she replied, "Yes." She Shang. The female ghost was dead. The hotel's alarm was not lifted, but the lights were turned on again. With the light, the atmosphere of the hotel changed. There was no longer that oppressive resentment. The sinister atmosphere was still there. After all, the Ghost King was here. She Shang was about to leave the room when a white figure suddenly floated in, followed by the sound of hurried footsteps. When Chu Miao saw She Shang, she was delighted. But when her gaze came into contact with Gue Yu beside She Shang, she was startled. Why was he here? Chu Miao still remembered clearly what happened last time. She had accidentally barged into that room and was caught by him. The strange thing was that he didn't kill her. Instead, he let her bring him into the elevator. He probably wanted to kill her. Now that she saw the 2 of them standing together, she felt strange. Footsteps approached, and a figure appeared at the door. The flow of the entire space seemed to have been slowed down by someone, and a treacherous and eerie aura slowly seeped in. She Shang stabbed the iron sword into the ground, and the crisp sound broke the strange atmosphere. Chu Miao slipped behind the She Shang. Li Chengyun's face instantly turned ugly. "Chu Miao, do you know who she is?" Chu Miao didn't know She Shang's name until now. She only heard people call her Miss Ji. Li Chengyun saw Chu Miao's expression and knew she didn't know. "She's Ji Feng's daughter." Chu Miao was very familiar with the name Ji Feng. Ji Feng was the one who caused her brother to be framed and imprisoned for no reason. Chu Miao looked at She Shang in disbelief. She was Ji Feng's daughter? Li Chengyun waved at Chu Miao, and his face softened. "Come here." "You're Ji Feng's daughter?" Chu Miao's voice trembled. How could she be Ji Feng's daughter? I used to be. She Shang shrugged carelessly. How is that possible? She was so nice to the daughter of her enemy? She Shang's lips curled into a slight curve. His smile was a bit evil. Obviously, that's the truth. How could you be Ji Feng's daughter? How could you lie to me? Chu Miao shook her head and stepped back. How did I lie to you? Be reasonable, female lead. The person you're making trouble for is over there. If you make trouble for me, you'll get beaten up. Chu Miao bit her lip. She didn't tell her what her name was, so she didn't lie to her. But when she thought about how she had been with her enemy's daughter for so long, Chu Miao suddenly turned her head and ran into the wall, disappearing in front of everyone. She Shang, running away without saying anything, as expected of the female lead. Li Chengyun seemed to care a lot about Chu Miao. He didn't even try to find fault with Shi Sheng. He turned around and chased after her. Because it was a supernatural incident, the hotel murder case wasn't publicized to the public. They only found a few excuses to brush it off. All the people involved were invited to a small dark room for a private discussion. Shi Shang later heard that there had been a murder case in this hotel before. The victim was a woman. She slit her wrists in the middle of the night in a hotel room. The woman came to the hotel to celebrate her 5th wedding anniversary with her husband. She wanted to give her husband a surprise, so she prepared in the hotel. Who knew that she would run into her husband having an affair? The woman and the mistress got into a fight. The husband was so angry that he wanted to divorce the woman. The woman couldn't take the blow and killed herself. The woman was wearing a red dress when she died. The timing was just right, so she became a ghost. After that, the hotel had a few more incidents, but they were all trivial. The hotel staff didn't tell anyone about it. Until something like this happened. The girl who died first betrayed the boy. She didn't betray the boy physically, but mentally. The two who died later had an abnormal relationship. Sister, sister, sister. Xiao Yu ran all the way and ran into Shi Shang's arms. He raised his head, and his watery eyes were full of joy. Sister, thank you. Shi Shang patted his head and said calmly, You deserve it. Xiao Yu pulled at his slightly thick clothes and took out the pendant. Sister, this pendant will really protect me. Shi Shang rudely stuffed the pendant back into his hand. Don't let anyone know about this. Be careful, or you'll get killed. Fatal disaster? What do you mean by killed? Xiao Yu tilted his head and asked curiously. It's... Shi Shang put his hand across his neck. Do you understand? Xiao Yu nodded, but he didn't really understand. Host, is it okay for you to talk like this? He's still a child. A child. Xiao Yu, Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu's mother called him from afar. We should go. Xiao Yu stuck out his tongue. Sister, I'm leaving. I won't let anyone know about its existence. Only Mommy and I know about it. Sister, will we meet again? Shi Shang took a step back. No. I don't believe you. We'll definitely meet again. Humph. Xiao Yu pouted and snorted. Goodbye, sister. Shi Shang waved his hand. Hurry up and go. Naughty children were the most annoying. Xiao Yu's mother urged him a few more times. Xiao Yu ran over and got into a car. The car drove past Shi Shang. Xiao Yu leaned against the car window and put his hands around his mouth to amplify his voice. Sister, we'll definitely meet again. Chapter 891. After Xiao Yu left, Gue Yu's figure slowly appeared. Shi Shang tilted his head to look at him. His entire body was still shrouded in the black robe, and he did not understand why he had to cover himself up. What's wrong? Gue Yu floated towards Shi Shang. The light gradually drew closer, and his face became clearer. Shi Shang pursed his lips and turned his head away, ignoring him. Who asked him to want to kill her? This baby has a temper too. Gue Yu immediately circled in front of Shi Shang. Are you angry? Why? Nonsense, even his little lover wants to kill him, and you're not angry. Move aside. No. Gue Yu blocked Shi Shang's path, his tone stubborn. Don't you like me? Do you know what it means to like someone? Gue Yu tilted his head. I want to be with you. Isn't that like? Shi Shang met Gue Yu's eyes. Then why do you want to be with me? Gue Yu was silent for a while. His fair and slender fingers reached out from under the black robe and gently touched Shi Shang's cheek. Seeing that she did not object, he carefully cupped her face. I just want to be with you. Are you not willing? His voice had a layer of hoarseness. His cold fingertips caressed her cheek, and the coldness quickly seeped into her body. A dangerous aura circulated around him. Shi Shang. If she said she was not willing, would he strangle her to death? Shi Shang courted death by saying, I'm not willing. Sure enough, after she finished speaking, Gui Yu's hand was placed on her neck, but he did not use any force. His fingertips rubbed against Shi Shang's neck twice. She felt that her brain was about to freeze into a block of ice. One word, cold. Two words, so cold. Gui Yu looked seriously at Shi Shang. Is there something wrong with me? Shi Shang pointed at his hand, his voice trembling. You want to strangle me at the drop of a hat. Do you think I'll be willing? Gui Yu immediately retracted his hand and tucked it into his robe. If I don't strangle you, will you be willing? The coldness on his neck disappeared. Shi Shang reached out and touched his neck. The warmth of his palm dispelled the coldness. It depends on my mood. Shi Shang wanted to go around him and leave, but Gui Yu wanted to block his way again. It seemed that he would not be satisfied if he did not get an answer. I dare you to block my way again. Shi Shang glared at him fiercely. Gui Yu's body paused. After hesitating for a moment, she slowly moved away and cautiously asked, Then can I follow you? For some reason, Shi Shang imagined the aggrieved look on his face. F***ck, there's poison. This is against the rules, I won't accept it. Shi Shang took a deep breath. Are you following me so that you can kill me? I will protect you, Gui Yu said seriously, as if she was making a vow to the most important person in her life. Shi Shang snorted. We don't know who's going to protect who. You want to protect I with your weak body? Dream on. I will protect you. Gui Yu stubbornly repeated herself. Shi Shang. Even if Shi Shang did not agree to Gui Yu following her, he would still stubbornly follow her. Hence, Shi Shang's opinion was not important at all. Gui Yu tried her best to hide her intention to kill her, but occasionally, she would inadvertently reveal it. This time, Feng Ci was poisonous. Miss Ji, please wait. Li He caught up from behind. Miss Ji. Shi Shang instinctively turned to look at Gui Yu. Gui Yu tilted her head, as if she did not understand why Shi Shang was looking at her. Li He did not even look at Gui Yu until he ran in. He actually could not see her? Li He should have some special abilities. Miss Ji, there is a document here that needs your signature. Li He actually did not like Shi Shang. She actually dared to hang up on him. He could not tolerate it. But this was his job, and he could not shirk it. What document? Shi Shang glanced at his hand. It's a confidentiality agreement. Everyone has signed it. It's not targeted at Miss Ji alone. Li He handed the document to Shi Shang. I'm not signing it. Li He knew that he would hit a wall with this woman. He suppressed his anger. Miss Ji, please cooperate with us. What can you do if I don't cooperate? Arrest me? Li He. Of course he could not arrest her. She did not commit any crime. If he could arrest her, he would have done so long ago. Miss Ji, why do you have to make things difficult for us? Even if I sign it, can you guarantee that I won't tell anyone? My mouth is on my body. Can you control what I say? Shi Shang sneered and interrupted Li He. His face was full of arrogance. No one can stop me from saying what I want to say. Li He. This woman is asking for a beating. Li He talked for a long time but to no avail. In the end, he called the captain to ask for his opinion. In the end, the captain only said 2 words. Let her be. Let her be. Let her be. Captain, tell me honestly. Do you have a crush on her? In the end, Li He left reluctantly. Anyway, he was just following the captain's orders. If anything happened, he would not be responsible. After Li He left, Shi Shang looked at Gui Yu. He can't see you? You're the only one who can see me. This is the privilege I give you. Shi Shang's mouth twitched. That's really a privilege. Gu Yu leaned closer to Shi Shang. Do you like it? I like it as long as you don't want to kill me. But... Gu Yu paused. You can only be with me if you die. Don't you want to be with me forever? Shi Shang felt that this child was sick. Feng Ci was sick to begin with. Even if I die, I won't necessarily become a ghost. If she died, she would be sent back to the system space. Why would she die? I'm here. You can do it. He was the Ghost King. He could make whoever he wanted stay. I can't. You don't like me. Gu Yu concluded. No. Gu Yu sounded aggrieved. Then why don't you want to be with me forever? Is there something about me that's not good enough? This has nothing to do with whether I die or not. Why was this topic so strange? Why was she discussing death with him? You just don't like me. Gu Yu lowered her head dejectedly. Shi Shang. I already said I don't like you. Damn this idiot. Shi Shang could feel the murderous intent from Du Guiwei growing stronger. The air around them seemed to have frozen, making it difficult to breathe. But he didn't come over. Gu Yu was very conflicted. He didn't know whether to kill her or leave. He should kill her. That way, she could stay by his side forever. But it was so uncomfortable. He didn't want to hurt her. Gu Yu couldn't suppress the violent impulse in his body. He simply disappeared in a flash. Shi Shang looked at the empty space beside him and the strange gazes from all around him. Just now, this little girl was talking to herself. He didn't see her make a call. Could she have escaped from some mental hospital? Everyone involuntarily distanced themselves from Shi Shang. Mental patients shouldn't be provoked. Who knew when they would go crazy and hurt people? Shi Shang. I's not crazy. Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy? Chapter 892. She couldn't stay in the hotel anymore and Shi Shang had to find another place to stay. After finding Feng Ci, Shi Shang felt that she should look for a house. Shi Shang found a house and was about to pay for it when she was told that her balance was insufficient. Shi Shang was dumbfounded. How could there be insufficient balance in her card? Shi Shang asked the other party to swipe her card again, but the result was the same. Insufficient balance. Shi Shang didn't have many cards on her, but each card should have enough money. However, after swiping all the cards, they all showed insufficient balance. Surplus. No. Sufficient. Insufficient my ass. Where's I's money? She didn't receive any notification of a transfer at all. Her money was mysteriously gone just like that. Shi Shang hurriedly looked for a place to surf the internet. The money in her card couldn't be found. It was as if it had disappeared into thin air. She didn't believe that it had disappeared into thin air. However, after searching for a long time, she still couldn't find anything. Her money had indeed disappeared into thin air. Someone actually dared to steal her money. She couldn't think of anyone else who could be so daring and so capable other than that idiot Mu Bai. That idiot Mu Bai only dared to scheme against I behind her back. If you're so capable, why don't you come face to face with me? Shi Shang was furious, but it was useless. She didn't even know who Mu Bai was. She had just become a millionaire, but in the blink of an eye, she had to eat dirt again. Eating dirt really made her want to chop someone up. She could chop a ghost up. Shi Shang sat on a bench in the park, doubting her life. Gu Yu silently appeared beside her and stared at her. Just as he was about to reach out, Shi Shang grabbed his wrist and threw him to the side, pressing him down on a chair. Gu Yu, I'm warning you. This is the last time. His hood slid down and his soft silver hair clung to his cheeks, accentuating his exquisite features. It was like a piece of art that had been carefully crafted. His eyes were clear and bright, like a stream that was untainted by impurities. They flowed slowly, yet they carried the coldness and loneliness of the mountains, making it difficult for others to approach them. He pursed his lips slightly and slowly reached out his other hand towards Shi Sheng. Shi Sheng froze and didn't move. His hand went past her ear and took a green leaf from her hair. Shi Sheng loosened his grip and stared at the green leaf for a moment before releasing it. "I'm sorry." Guiyu habitually pulled her hood up and sat up straight. "It's okay." Guiyu was silent for a while and looked at Shi Sheng. "I won't hurt you. You don't have to be so guarded against me. Okay?" He used a question, appearing even more cautious. He didn't like her being so guarded against him. Shi Sheng sighed in his heart. "It's not that I don't want to die. I can't die." "Why?" Shi Sheng's eyes lit up. "Because you won't be able to see me if I die." Guiyu tilted her head in confusion. Shi Sheng reached out his hand towards Guiyu. Guiyu lowered her gaze and looked at his fair hand. His fingers peeked out from under his black robe, but he didn't put them there for a long time. He slowly retracted his fingers and wrapped himself tightly. "I won't hurt you again." He longed for her touch, longed for her skin to skin. But he couldn't help it. Shi Sheng retracted his hand as if nothing had happened. He lowered his head and continued to doubt his life. Guiyu observed him from the corner of her eye and slowly closed the distance between them. The surrounding temperature dropped inch by inch. It was already quite cold, but Guiyu was simply adding frost to snow. "Sit further away." Shi Sheng looked up at Guiyu. This was simply a moving ice house. It wasn't even summer now. Why would she need an ice house? Why? Did she not like him being close to her? She still didn't like him. Guiyu thought of this and wanted to kill Shi Sheng again. "It's too cold." Shi Sheng frowned. Guiyu was stunned. Then she said seriously, "You won't be cold if I hug you." "Shi Sheng. If I let you hug me, I'll freeze to death, okay? He was actually trying to murder me, right? What a scary Feng Ci." Shi Sheng refused to hug her. Guiyu was at a loss. If it wasn't for the black robe covering him, he would definitely look especially adorable right now. "Don't you like me?" So she didn't even let him hug her. "I don't want to hug a refrigerator." Shi Sheng gritted his teeth. "I'm not a refrigerator." "You're like a refrigerator." "I'm not a refrigerator." Shi Sheng. Retarded children are much more fun. "I don't want to play with you. I'm leaving." Shi Sheng stood up to leave. Guiyu suddenly reached out and grabbed Shi Sheng, pulling him into her embrace. Shi Sheng felt as if he had fallen into a pool of snow. A bone-piercing chill spread throughout his body. His blood seemed to have frozen. Shi Sheng's body trembled, and his face gradually turned pale. Guiyu seemed to have realized something. She suddenly let go of Shi Sheng, undid the black robe, and draped it over Shi Sheng's body. The black robe wasn't cold. In fact, there was some warmth. Shi Sheng's body quickly warmed up. "Are you feeling better?" Guiyu stood in front of her, not knowing what to do. Her eyes were a little downcast. She had forgotten that she was the one who could hurt him. Even if she turned into a ghost, she wouldn't be able to withstand his touch. Shi Sheng was so cold he didn't want to speak, so he didn't answer Guiyu. Guiyu lowered her head and looked at her hands. The cold wind blew past her silver hair, instantly freezing it into ice. A layer of frost appeared on the ground. Ice flowers bloomed one after another. With Guiyu as the center, they spread into the distance. But in an instant, all the ice flowers disappeared. It was like a flash in the pan. Guiyu's figure also disappeared in front of Shi Sheng. It was as if she had never appeared. All that was left was the black robe on her body. Ji Luiying's body wasn't very healthy to begin with. After being frozen by the cold air emitted from Guiyu's body, Shi Sheng fell sick. At first, it was just a cold. Later, she started to have a fever and became unconscious. When she woke up, she was already in the hospital. Her surroundings were white. The light was so bright that she couldn't open her eyes. It took her a while to adjust. Her vision gradually cleared. The first thing she saw was Chu Miao, who was holding her head and floating above her. Shi Shang. F***ck, I was scared to death. Chu Miao saw that Shi Shang was awake and quickly put her head back. You're awake? You almost died. Shouldn't you be happy if I died? Shi Shang propped himself up. This body was too weak. It couldn't even withstand that little bit of cold. No matter how strong she was, it was useless if her body couldn't keep up. She still had to kneel. Host, this is just the body of an ordinary girl. Gue Yu is the Ghost King. It's already a miracle that you're not dead. The system complained in disdain. Did the system think that this girl's body was made of iron? Chu Miao bit her lip. Her voice was soft. What your father did has nothing to do with you. I just couldn't accept it before. I know that Ji Feng didn't treat you well, so I couldn't get you involved. Very good. The female lead was just so kind. Only when she suffered losses did she realize that she was as stupid as a pig. But I can't forgive you. After all, you're Ji Feng's daughter. Chu Miao suddenly changed the topic. Shi Shang looked at Chu Miao strangely. Chu Miao smiled. So let's pretend that we never met. Chapter 893. Chu Miao left as soon as she finished speaking. Shi Shang was a little confused. This female lead was not following the script. Shouldn't she have said, "Let's reacquaint ourselves with these lines"? Why did she leave just like that? Shi Shang did not know how he arrived at the hospital. Later, he heard from the nurse that someone had made an emergency call. As for who made the call, he did not know. When he arrived at the hospital, he found her lying on the bed, half dead. Miss G, this is the bill for these few days. We could not contact your family, so the hospital paid for you. Now that you are awake, you can contact your family and settle the bill. The head nurse handed a list to Shi Shang. Shi Shang. He was so poor that he had to eat dirt. How could he have the money to pay the bill? Okay, I will contact them. Shi Shang took the bill calmly. When the head nurse left, Shi Shang's smile immediately disappeared. He gritted his teeth and began to curse Gue Yu's family. Every time he met her, he was unlucky. Every time he was unlucky. Shi Shang looked at the amount on the bill and frowned. He had never thought that one day he would be so poor that he did not even have the money to see a doctor. How infuriating! The host did not have many friends, so it was impossible for her to borrow money. As for whether the Ji family had relatives or friends, the host did not know at all. Ji Feng had never taken the host to meet any relatives, and no one had ever come to the house. So, how could she get money now? Fortunately, he had his phone with him. Shi Shang took out his phone and found a number. He thought for a while and called the number. When he was so poor that he had to eat dirt, he could only rely on his savings. Shi Shang sold some things in the space and finally settled the bill. The doctor came to check on her. Shi Shang asked directly, "Can I leave the hospital now?" She wanted to find that idiot Gue Yu to settle the bill. The doctor looked at the case. "You are still very weak. You have to stay in the hospital." "How weak?" "According to your condition, it will be difficult for you to walk." The doctor did not know if he was exaggerating to scare Shi Shang. Shi Shang didn't believe it and immediately tried to get off the bed. However, his legs felt weak the moment they touched the ground. The doctor reached out to support Shi Shang. "Now you know that I wasn't just scaring you?" Shi Shang was speechless. "It was just a cold. Was it necessary to be so upset?" "System, I request a change of body." "Do you think this is a game where you can change your avatar whenever you want, retarded host?" "Where are your family members?" the doctor asked again. "No family." The doctor glanced at Shi Shang and reminded him, "Be careful. There's a bell over there. Call the nurse if anything happens." Life in the hospital wasn't easy at all. They couldn't eat or drink well, and they couldn't even sleep well. In the middle of the night, there was always the sound of people walking in the hospital corridor. Shi Shang called the nurse twice, but the nurse told her that there was no one outside. She wondered if she had misheard. The nurse looked so confident that Shi Shang thought he had misheard her. However, she was certain that she did not hear wrongly. There were indeed people walking around outside. The next day, Shi Shang found out the name of the hospital he was staying in. It was the F*King Hospital, where the news said that someone had jumped off the building. Oh my God, who the hell sent I to this hospital? Come out. I promise not to beat you to death. Discharge. I must be discharged. Shi Shang was about to press the bell when the door was suddenly pushed open. An unfamiliar boy appeared at the door. Shi Shang thought that he had entered the wrong room. However, the boy walked directly towards Shi Shang. Shi Shang stared at him. What was he doing? The boy stopped in front of Shi Shang. I can hug you now. EXM. Shi Shang's eyes turned. He asked tentatively, Guiyu? The boy pursed his lips and nodded. What the F*CK? What the F*CK? Where did he get his body fixed? Where did you get this outfit? The hospital. Guiyu tilted her head. Don't you like it? I can change into another one. Guiyu was about to leave. You've been waiting for so long. Stop right there, Guiyu. Shi Shang shouted. Guiyu obediently stopped. She turned to look at Shi Shang. Shi Shang's chest rose and fell rapidly. You, return this body to me. Why? Guiyu did not understand. I won't hurt you if I use someone else's body. Although a human body would still be a little cold, it would not hurt her directly like it did when he used his own body. He thought for a long time before coming up with this idea. But this is someone else's body. Shi Shang gritted his teeth. Someone else's body. Who knew what the original owner had done? The system thought that Shi Shang had some conscience. Who knew that her focus was on this? Indeed, it could not expect too much from a scumbag host. You don't like it? No. I like it. I like it. Shi Shang gritted his teeth. Oh. Guiyu lowered her head. Hurry up and return it to me. Shi Shang pointed outside. Guiyu looked up and glanced at Shi Shang. Can I accompany you? Accompany your ass. Shi Shang glared fiercely at Guiyu. If it were not for the fact that Ai's body was weak, he would have jumped up and beat this idiot to death. Guiyu looked at him innocently with an unfamiliar face. In the end, Guiyu returned the body to him. He floated in through the door. He put on a new black robe and stood beside Shi Shang's bed. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to cause you so much harm. Are you angry? Why aren't you talking? Shi Shang's temples throbbed with pain. She really wanted to strangle him. Really? She just wanted to sleep peacefully. Why was it so difficult? Shi Shang could not take it anymore. Shut up. Otherwise, get out. Oh. Guiyu immediately shut his mouth and didn't speak anymore. But he continued to stare fixedly at Shi Shang, killing intent occasionally flashing in his eyes. It'd be strange if Shi Shang could fall asleep. Sleep my ass. I wanted to be discharged. Shi Shang remembered what he had to do. He immediately rang the bell and asked the nurse to help him with the discharge procedures. The nurse could not force Shi Shang to stay. She could only help him with the discharge procedures. Shi Shang immediately packed up and left. Shi Shang's body was still weak after a full day of 4 drips. When he got off the bed, his legs were weak and his body was unstable. He fell forward. Guiyu instinctively supported him. Shi Shang shuddered but did not push him away. She had to get used to it. Otherwise, how could they get along in the future? Shi Shang gritted his teeth and endured the chill. Take me out of here. Guiyu was like a child who had been rewarded. Okay. Guiyu did not know what method she used. The people around her could not even see her. She helped Shi Shang down the stairs. When they were leaving the inpatient department, Shang suddenly felt a heavy object fall in front of him. Warm liquid splashed on her hand. The viscous liquid slid down the back of her hand and dripped onto the snow-white floor. In an instant, the floor was dyed blood red, like a blooming red plum. Under the dark sky, snowflakes swirled and fell from the sky. The entire world seemed to be left with only the rustling sound. ## today's soda-flavored ticket hashtag. Chapter 894. Gu Yu took a few steps back with Shang. He covered Shang's eyes and used his body to block the body on the ground. Shang was not disgusted by the body, but by the blood on her hands. Gu Yu took Shang and quickly left the crime scene. They landed in the garden behind the hospital. Gu Yu placed Shang on a chair and knelt down on one knee. He held Shang's hand and used a clean handkerchief to wipe the blood off her hand. After wiping it a few more times with water, he held Shang's hand and looked up at him. "It's clean now," he said. Shang sniffed. "Ah." Shang sneezed a few times. The tip of his nose was red, itchy, and uncomfortable. Gu Yu seemed to have been awakened. He let go of Shang's hand. Did I make you uncomfortable again?" He was so happy just now that he had forgotten what he had done to her. Shang sniffed again. "It's nothing." "Really?" Shang glared at him. "It's fake." He might as well strangle him and see him in the next world. Gu Yu did not dare to speak. He was afraid that Shang would chase him away. The person who jumped to her death was a girl who looked to be about 17 or 18 years old. She had come to the hospital for an abortion but suddenly disappeared 10 minutes before the surgery. When she was found again, she was in the cold snow. The girl's parents did not know that she had come to the hospital. They only found out that their daughter was pregnant when they received a call from the police. But now that she was gone, there was no point in pursuing this matter. The girl's friends did not know that she was pregnant. The hospital also said that the girl came alone. Although she did not look well, she was not so depressed that she wanted to jump off the building. Who would have thought that in less than 10 minutes, the person would disappear just like that? The girl's family made a scene at the hospital and demanded an explanation. Similar incidents had happened at the hospital before. The media was very concerned and felt that there was something wrong with the hospital. They blocked the entrance of the hospital all day long. Otherwise, why would a normal person suddenly jump off a building? The hospital was in a difficult position. They did not do anything. Who knew why these people would jump off a building at the hospital? Shang had already left the hospital, and Gu Yu brought her to a villa. The villa was a little old, and many things were from the previous era. However, it was very clean, as if it was often cleaned. Gu Yu pushed open the door of the villa and announced very seriously, "This will be our home from now on, just you and me." Shang always felt that Gu Yu's words had some other meaning, but no matter if they were separated or connected, there was no problem with this sentence. "I'll take you to your room." Gu Yu lowered her hood, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. "You'll like it." Shang looked at Gu Yu suspiciously. Gu Yu brought Shang upstairs. There were several rooms on the second floor. Gu Yu brought Shang to the last room. The room was very big, but the decorations were very modern. But, why does this furniture look so familiar? Shang thought of the furniture that had mysteriously disappeared next door to the house he had bought. No matter how he looked at it, it was the same. "Do you like it?" He. "Like your grandpa. These things were taken from someone else's place." Gu Yu tilted her head. "You don't like it? Then let's change to another room." Gu Yu left the room and walked to another one. The style inside was completely different. "You don't like it?" And, after looking through all the rooms, Shang was speechless for a long time. After a while, he said, "How many houses did you steal?" "I didn't steal." Gu Yu shook her head. "I bought them." "You're a ghost and you have money. Did you buy them with money from the underworld?" "I'm using your money." "What did you say?" She seemed to have heard wrongly that Gue Yu used her money. Gue Yu answered matter-of-factly, I used your money. You took the money from my card? Shi Shang squeezed the words out from between his teeth. Gue Yu tilted her head and asked innocently, Isn't your things mine? F***CK. Who allowed you to act cute? Shi Shang dragged his sick body and gave Gue Yu a beating. This kind of person deserved a beating. She actually dared to embezzle her savings without telling her. She was almost detained in the hospital because of her. She always thought that it was that idiot Mubai who did it, but who knew that it was actually this idiot who did it? Was this the so-called, no matter how hard one tries to guard against a thief in the house, it is hard to guard against a thief in the house? Were you the one who caused me to be rejected everywhere when I rented a house? Shi Shang grabbed Gue Yu's collar and stared at her with a sinister expression. I wanted you to live with me. What's wrong with that? Gue Yu raised her head and seemed to be very proud. What's wrong with that? You want to live with I, so you let I have no home to return to? Who the F***CK taught you the strategy? Shi Shang wanted to strangle her to death. He was so angry that he beat Gue Yu up again. Gue Yu did not fight back and let him beat her up. She even asked considerately, Does your hand hurt? Shi Shang's anger dissipated instantly. He threw her away and sat on the ground. She was so angry. Gue Yu stood up as if nothing had happened and said worriedly, The ground is cold. Don't sit on the ground. Shi Shang glared at her fiercely. Gue Yu shrank back and felt a little wronged. I have so much money. Have you used it all? Her cards added up to at least 10 million. It was impossible for him to buy all these things. Unexpectedly, Gue Yu nodded seriously. Yes. Shi Shang. Who gave you the face to admit it so shamelessly? I can't use my money. Gue Yu took out a card from her pocket and handed it to Shi Shang. She held it in front of Shi Shang to please him. I have a lot of money. Don't be angry. I'll give it all to you. Shi Shang had never seen the card before. It had a grey background and the words, Bank of the Afterlife, were printed in the middle. Below it was a string of numbers. It was probably the card number. Was this a bank card from the underworld? The underworld was so advanced now. They even knew how to swipe cards. Bah! That was not the point. The currency of the human world and the underworld could not be exchanged. What was the point of giving it to I? I was not a ghost. Flip's table. Gue Yu probably knew that she was angry that she had misappropriated Shi Shang's money. She did not dare to provoke Shi Shang anymore. She would do whatever Shi Shang asked her to do. Are you hungry? Gue Yu stood beside Shi Shang and watched her play the game. You haven't recovered yet. Don't play too much. Gue Yu met Shi Shang's warning gaze. His words were stuck in his throat. I'll make something for you to eat. He turned and left the room. A few seconds later, he came back. What do you like to eat? Anything. There's no such dish. He had never seen this dish in the menu. Shi Shang finished off the last boss in the game and received the reward for clearing it. Only then did she look at Gue Yu, her lips lifting. I like everything you make. Gue Yu's eyes lit up. Really? Does that mean you like me and are willing to be with me? Shi Shang. Suddenly, he did not want to tease her anymore. I don't really understand why you guys said that Wu Lixing's brain was dead. Chapter 895. Gue Yu was very stubborn. If Shi Shang didn't tell him the name of the dish, he wouldn't cook it. Feng Xi's personality had changed in a single world, and he was getting weirder and weirder. If this continued, she would abandon him sooner or later. Alright, it was just a thought. If she really wanted to abandon him, she really couldn't do it. Gue Yu was a ghost. Shi Shang didn't really understand why he knew how to cook. Although the taste wasn't particularly good, compared to her, it was at the level of a god. The host who can never master her culinary skills. Gue Yu didn't need to eat. He just watched Shi Shang eat. That burning gaze made it seem like Shi Shang was a dish and he wanted to tear her apart and swallow her whole. Shi Shang finished his food in 2 or 3 bites and went back to playing the game. Guo Yu consciously tidied up the dishes. Probably afraid that Shi Shang would run away, he purposely moved her outside the kitchen. Shi Shang was recuperating in the villa. Guo Yu didn't allow her to go out at all. At first, she thought that this guy wanted her to recuperate, but later she realized that this guy was secretly imprisoning her. At this moment, Shi Shang finally realized what was wrong with what he said at the beginning. Guo Yu tidied up his things and walked in front of Shi Shang. He bent down to hug her. Shi Shang hurriedly reached out to block him. "Don't touch me." She didn't want to become a popsicle, and she didn't want him to hug her right now. "How dare you imprison me? If I don't punish you for 3 days, you'll become a troublemaker." Guo Yu put down his hand in disappointment, a hint of grievance appearing in his eyes. "Do you hate me, Shi Shang?" He was being unreasonable again. I might have met the female lead, what should I do? Waiting online, it's urgent #no. Shi Shang looked at Guo Yu. "I don't hate you. Then let me hug you for a while. Just a while, it'll be quick. I won't let you feel cold." Guo Yu was insatiable. He liked the smell of her body. He liked her body temperature. He liked her. He liked everything about her. Shi Shang frowned slightly. "Just a while." Guo Yu's lips curved upwards. Only her figure remained in his clear eyes. It was as if she was the only person in his world. She was his entire world. Guo Yu reached out and pulled Shi Shang into his embrace. After about a second, he released her. Although he really wanted to hold her in his embrace, he was more worried that her body would not be able to take it. Guo Yu squatted down and said word by word, "I like you very much. I want to be with you. No matter if you are willing or not, you cannot leave me. Do you understand?" Shi Shang hung up his phone and said, "What if I say I don't want to?" Guo Yu's eyes darkened, her voice low, "Then let's disappear together." He stood up and turned to leave. His tone was firm. "I won't let you go, so don't even think about leaving me." Guo Yu's heart was trembling. He had thought that she had accepted him, but in the end, it was just a misconception. There was no sound behind him. Every step he took felt like torture. She must be angry. If he apologized now, would she forgive him? The more Guo Yu thought, the more panicked he became. He stopped in his tracks and froze in place for a while before slowly turning around. Just as he turned around, someone hugged him. A familiar scent soothed his panic. He heard her say, "I'm willing." Just a moment ago, the world was covered in thorns and snow. In an instant, spring flowers bloomed. Shi Shang let go of Guo Yu and rubbed the cold goosebumps on his arms. "But it's impossible for you to make a golden cage for me. Of course, if you want to stay in the throne room I built for you, I will welcome it." She could pamper him and give him everything, but he could not control himself. This was something she would not allow, and it definitely could not appear. "This way, you will be together with me, right?" Guo Yu blinked, asking seriously. Shi Shang nodded slightly. "Okay, I'm willing." Guo Yu's eyes curved slightly, a faint smile on her face. That smile was enough to bewitch all living things, including their lives. "Maybe one day you will regret it. I believe that day will not come." There was no use in regretting it. He had boarded a pirate ship. How could he get off so easily? Not even if he died. Shi Shang was isolated by Guo Yu for a few days. The hospital incident had already passed the heated discussion period. The hospital did not want to blow up the matter and continue to attract criticism for the hospital. They could only take the blame and compensate the girl's parents with a sum of money for no reason. As the saying goes, money makes the world go round. After the girl's parents received the money, they did not continue to cause trouble at the hospital. With no one causing trouble, the media naturally stopped paying attention. The heat gradually died down. That hospital. Gue Yu saw Shi Shang reading the news about the hospital and whispered, "There's something strange in there." What strange thing? I can't tell. Gue Yu frowned slightly. But it's not something good. Shi Shang rolled his eyes at Gue Yu. She was talking nonsense. You're interested? I can catch that thing for you to play with. Gue Yu looked at Shi Shang fawningly. Catch? For me to play with? Shi Shang was speechless. As a fair-skinned and beautiful girl, why would she play with something of unknown origin? And as a boyfriend, is this what you do? Catch something strange for your girlfriend to play with? Damn idiot. Indeed, you don't know how to play with it. You only know how to hack it to death. If you don't like it, I won't catch it. Gue Yu was very good at reading people's expressions. When she saw that Shi Shang's expression was not right, she immediately changed her words. Shi Shang put away the things and stood up. I'm going out for a while. Where are you going? Gue Yu followed Shi Shang. To buy things. I want to go too. Shi Shang. Thinking about how strange Gue Yu was spending money, Shi Shang felt that he had to hold onto his bank card tightly in the future. If he continued to spend money like this, she would have to eat dirt every minute. Shi Shang was directly taken away from the hospital by Gue Yu. He had space to change clothes, but not underwear. She could only buy underwear. The underwear section was very big. Gue Yu followed Shi Shang in and swept his gaze calmly across the circle of underwear. He directly picked up a piece of underwear and handed it to Shi Shang. This looks good. Shi Shang. Damn idiot. Shi Shang hurriedly snatched the underwear from his hand. Don't touch anything. He was King invisible, but the underwear was not. To an outsider, it looked like the underwear had suddenly floated up. You don't like that kind? Gue Yu did not listen to him at all. He floated to the other side and asked, "What about this?" The salesperson over there had already noticed that there were people here. She put down the things in her hands and looked over. Suddenly, she saw an underwear floating in the air and screamed, "Ah!" Everyone in the shop surrounded her. What's wrong? Over there. The underwear over there is flying. Ah! What underwear is flying? What are you talking about? The others looked in the direction the salesperson was pointing. They only saw a lady choosing underwear. There was no underwear flying. Where did you go last night? Are you still not awake yet? Don't scream. It'll be bad if you scare the customers and they complain. The salesperson looked in Shi Shang's direction and rubbed her eyes. She was puzzled. Was she seeing things? Chapter 896. Shi Shang didn't dare to delay and casually picked 2 items for the bill. Gue Yu stood outside after being glared at by Shi Shang. He hung his head like a child who had done something wrong. A couple walked past him. Gue Yu tilted his head and looked at their backs. No one knew what he was thinking. When Shi Shang came out, he immediately retracted his gaze and floated forward. Did I make you angry again? You're a ghost. If you touch these things, you'll scare others and attract attention. Do you understand? Gue Yu tilted his head and pointed at a couple in the distance. Then if I let them see me, can I go shopping with you like they do? What was this idiot up to now? Didn't you say you'd only show it to me? She definitely couldn't let him do anything. Gue Yu looked at the couple and then at Shi Shang. He was a little conflicted. But I want to be like them. As long as he let others see him, he could help her carry things, pick things for her, and do many things for her openly. As a ghost, he should act like one. Why did he have to learn from others? Shi Shang's eyes turned. You have to take off your black robe. When Gue Yu took off his black robe, he immediately cowered. He said in a small voice, I'd better stay like this. I'll only show it to you. Good boy. Gue Yu was a little depressed. With Shi Shang's comforting words, he gradually calmed down. Shi Shang returned to the villa and saw Chu Miao from afar. She was squatting outside the villa, her white dress spread out. A line popped up in Shi Shang's mind. What a white lotus! A strange ghost appeared. Gui Yu's body surged with hostility. He raised his hand and waved at Chu Miao. Chu Miao didn't even have time to look up before her body flew out. Ji Luiying! Chu Miao screamed in horror. Gui Yu seemed to want to kill Chu Miao. His palms moved outwards and slowly closed. Chu Miao curled up in discomfort. Her body began to flicker. Ji Luiying! Chu Miao's voice was scattered in the wind. She only called her name and didn't say anything else. Shi Shang reached out and pressed down on Gui Yu's hand. Gui Yu looked at him. Her eyes under the hood were full of murderous intent. When she touched Shi Shang, it receded like the tide. Stop. Why? Gui Yu did not understand. She trespassed on my territory. I should kill her. Shi Shang. She's the female lead. Is he someone you can kill just because you want to? Shi Shang stared at Gui Yu without saying a word. Gui Yu did not stop and looked at Shi Shang. In the distance, Chu Miao wanted to curse. What were they doing? Are you going to kill me or not? Can't you be more straightforward? In the end, Gui Yu compromised. She withdrew her hands into her black robes, a bit unhappy. I want a hug. Shi Shang gave her a hug and said, let's go inside. Oh. Gui Yu glanced at Chu Miao, who was lying on the ground, and dawdled into the villa. Shi Shang walked to Chu Miao. Didn't you say you wanted to be strangers? Why are you looking for me? Chu Miao's face was pale. I don't know who to look for. She was the only person he could think of. How did you find me? Although this place was not particularly remote, it was still not somewhere she could find, not to mention that there was a ghost king here. Chu Miao wiped her face with her sleeve and sat up. I heard it from Li Chengyun. Li Chengyun? How did the male lead know she was here? Was he trying to cause trouble? Let's talk inside. Shi Shang walked towards the villa. Chu Miao stood up shakily. She was a bit afraid of the villa, but thinking about her own situation, she gritted her teeth and followed Shi Shang inside. Gui Yu was already in the kitchen preparing something. Chu Miao smelled a delicious aroma as soon as she entered. Her surprise immediately overshadowed her fear. She actually saw this ghost in the kitchen? Was she seeing things? Chu Miao blinked hard. No matter how she looked, up and down, it proved that she was not seeing things. This ghost she was a bit afraid of was really preparing food in the kitchen. You and him? Chu Miao floated to the opposite side of Shi Shang and pointed in the direction of the kitchen. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Shi Shang glanced at her lightly. Chu Miao's lips moved. She suppressed her curiosity. Side mission: eliminate the evil and protect the good. The system's voice suddenly sounded. What the hell was eliminating the evil and protect the good? The key clue is on Chu Miao. Host, please explore on your own. You cannot refuse the mission. If the host refuses, the system has the right to forcibly transfer Feng Ci away. Shi Shang. Why don't you go to heaven? I don't dare. The host has been in heaven for a long time. That's right. It was such a coward system. Who told it to be a left-behind child? Shi Shang collected his emotions. He raised his eyebrows and looked at Chu Miao. Tell me, what do you want from me? Chu Miao hesitated for a moment, then slowly told him. After she left the ward that day, she met a woman in the hospital. That woman could also see her. She claimed to be her mother. Chu Miao lived with her brother Chu Jing since she was young. She had never seen her parents. When she was young, she also asked, but Chu Jing did not answer. Once, when she asked too much, Chu Jing told her that their parents were dead. This time, she suddenly met a woman and told her that she was her mother. That year, she had no choice but to entrust her to a friend, who knew that that friend would also die one after another. She went to look for her, but she could not find her. Only now did she know that her mother was dead. Chu Miao was skeptical. At first, she did not believe the woman, but later, the woman told her some of the characteristics of her body. One of the characteristics was very hidden. Only those who were close to her knew about it. Moreover, she did look similar to the woman, but Chu Miao did not believe her completely. It was not until the woman got her hair from Chu Jing and took it to do a DNA test that Chu Miao completely believed her. The woman asked Chu Miao how she died. Chu Miao did not know, so she could not answer this question. The woman was very concerned about the cause of her death. She kept asking Chu Miao to remember how she died. At first, Chu Miao thought that the woman only cared about her. Later, she realized that was not the case. The woman was in contact with Li Chengyun. Chu Miao saw the woman meet with Li Chengyun with her own eyes. It was also at that time that she heard them talking about Shi Sheng. When she heard the address, she subconsciously remembered it. Li Chengyun had always wanted to use her. Chu Miao knew in her heart that Li Chengyun wanted to use her. Now that she found out that her mother was in contact with a man who wanted to use her, Chu Miao began to be wary of the woman. Not long ago, the woman began to give her strange things to drink. She said that it could help her recover her lost memories. Chu Miao naturally did not dare to drink it. Once, she was caught by the woman when she was stealing something. Although she managed to cover up her lie, the woman began to monitor her. Every time, she would watch her drink the things with her own eyes. Those things did not smell tasty. They tasted bitter, but she did not feel anything after drinking them. At first, Chu Miao was relieved. However, as she drank more and more, she found that she began to forget things. Chapter 897. After Chu Miao realized this, she felt that she couldn't stay here any longer. She ran out when the woman wasn't here. When she didn't know what to do, she remembered the address Li Chengyun told her. That was why she came here. So, a woman who claimed to be your mother joined forces with Li Chengyun to harm you? Shi Sheng concluded. What was the male lead trying to do? Did he become evil because he couldn't get the female lead? Chu Miao sat on the sofa dispiritedly. She said in a low voice, "When I found out she was my mother, I was very happy. Everyone longed for a mother's love. She longed for it too. So, when you found out that she had other plans for you, did you hope that she had other difficulties, or did you think that she wanted to harm you?" Shi Sheng's voice was somewhat malicious. Chu Miao shook her head and said in pain, "I don't know. I don't know. What are you going to do now?" Chu Miao still shook her head. If she had a way, she wouldn't have come to her. She was probably desperate. Chu Miao didn't know why she thought of her at that time. Her intuition told her that she would have a way. After all, she had never seen her panic. She was always so calm and collected, as if nothing was a problem in her eyes. Shi Sheng thought about the side mission of eliminating evil and protecting justice. He rubbed his forehead in annoyance. "You really don't remember how you died?" "The female lead died for no reason. There must be a reason. And the reason was very important. Usually, it was related to the end of the story. The story she received was the simplified version. Things like this wouldn't be hinted in the story." Chu Miao frowned as if she was thinking hard. I don't know. How did she die? Why couldn't she remember anything?" Shi Sheng thought about it and asked in a different way, "How much do you remember before you became like this?" Chu Miao covered her head and said slowly, "I remember. It was my birthday. Yes, my birthday. My brother celebrated my birthday with me. I think I drank a lot of alcohol. There were a lot of people. It was very noisy. After that, I don't remember. When I regained consciousness, I was already like this." Chu Miao shook her head. She couldn't understand what happened that day. Those memories seemed to be very far away from her. Time to eat. Gue Yu came back with a few dishes and called out to Shi Sheng. Probably because Chu Miao was here, he did not take off his black robe. Chu Miao didn't need to eat, so she sat alone on the sofa, struggling. Gue Yu accompanied Shi Shang to eat, and of course watched her eat the whole time. I won't allow her to stay here. Gue Yu saw that the Shi Shang was almost done eating, and only then did she open her mouth to express her opinion. Allowing this woman to step into her territory was already the biggest concession she could make. Shi Shang rolled his eyes at him. I didn't plan to let her stay here either. Who would dare to casually take in a female lead Darren, especially this kind of female lead who has a big plot? Only then was Gue Yu satisfied. Are you full yet? Do you want to eat some more? Shi Shang put down his chopsticks and burped. Do you think I'm raising a pig? If you're a little fatter, I'll be able to hug you a little longer. Gue Yu nodded seriously. Shi Shang was confused. What kind of theory is that? Gue Yu answered honestly. The internet says that fat is more resistant to the cold. Shi Shang really wanted to slap this idiot to death. Was that a normal cold? No amount of fat would be able to stop it. Don't read those deceptive things. Gue Yu frowned. Can't I? But didn't the people on the internet say that it was very useful? Shi Shang didn't want to discuss this kind of academic problem with him. Go wash the dishes. Go wash the dishes. Chu Miao gave too little useful information, so Shi Shang couldn't analyze anything. He could only drive Chu Miao out and let her think about it. Chu Miao stood outside the door, confused. Did she drive her out just like that? Chu Miao had seen Shi Shang's tricks, and there was also a ghost inside that she was very afraid of. She didn't dare to go anywhere. But Chu Miao didn't dare to leave the villa, so she could only squat at the door. Chu Miao tried hard to recall what had happened that day. Time passed unknowingly, and the temperature in the second half of the night dropped sharply. Chu Miao rubbed her arms. Why was it so cold? No, she didn't feel cold. Chu Miao's dazed mind immediately cleared. She stood up and looked into the darkness. The lights outside the villa formed a hazy arc around the small world. The darkness was eroding the dim light. What was that? Chu Miao instinctively ran into the villa. When she turned around, she bumped into the door. Just like before, she couldn't get in. The darkness was eroding faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, it had reached the bottom of the stairs. Other than the lights on the door, there was no other light. It was as dark as ink in the distance. Ji Luing, Ji Luing. Chu Miao screamed at the top of her lungs. The darkness had climbed up the stairs. Chu Miao could feel the coldness getting colder and colder, and a panic rising from the depths of her heart. Ji Luing. Chu Miao's voice was trembling. In the darkness, her voice sounded shrill and thin. It was very eerie. Are you calling a ghost in the middle of the night? The door of the villa was pulled open. Shi Shang stood at the door. He glanced at the darkness outside and snorted. Is this enough to scare you? How could the heroine of a supernatural novel not be scared? Chu Miao pointed at the darkness that was getting closer and closer. Her fingers trembled. This. You call this a little? Shi Shang rolled his eyes and walked out of the villa. The iron sword appeared with a whoosh and stabbed into the ground. A gust of air rippled from the ground. The darkness that was still climbing up the stairs retreated like the tide when the air rippled past. Chu Miao gaped at the sword in Shi Shang's hand. This wasn't the first time she had seen this sword, but she didn't have time to look at it closely. She didn't know what it was used for. Chu Miao swallowed with difficulty. What is that? How would I know? Shi Shang put away the iron sword. Chu Miao. Then what do you mean by being so confident? Shi Shang looked into the darkness in the distance before suddenly walking down the stairs. Don't go. Gue Yu appeared in front of Shi Shang out of thin air, blocking her way. It's dangerous. You can either go together or stay here. Shi Shang's tone was calm. Which one do you choose? Go together. Actually, he wanted her to stay here, but considering her temper, that was impossible. So they could only go together. Looking at Gue Yu and Shi Shang's backs, Chu Miao felt a chill in the air. She quickly chased after them. It was better to have someone with her than to be alone. Chapter 898. Along the tree-lined path outside the villa, Shishang and Gu Yu walked leisurely as if they were taking a stroll. This was the only villa nearby. They had to walk out of this path to reach the other villa areas. Chu Miao followed behind them. She felt that the swaying branches were like monsters that were ready to kill them. Rustle, rustle, rustle. The night wind rustled the branches and the leaves rubbed against each other. Chu Miao heard the rustling sound again and again, which made her scalp tingle. The people in front of them suddenly stopped. Gu Yu seemed to say something to Shishang. Shishang said disdainfully, took out the iron sword and waved it around. Large patches of trees began to collapse without any order. Chu Miao was almost hurt by the sword chi. She managed to avoid the sword chi with great difficulty, but she was faced with falling trees. She subconsciously dodged them. When the trees passed through her body, she realized that she was a ghost and did not need to avoid these things. But when there was danger, no matter if it was a human or a ghost, they would subconsciously avoid it. As the trees fell, a black shadow was forced out. It was a very small shadow. Under the dim light, it twisted a few times and gradually formed a shape. It jumped a few times in the air and landed on a tree stump. Meow, the cat meowed. Its green eyes stared straight at Shishang. It's you. Shishang frowned. Why did this thing come out? Meow, the black cat meowed again. After a moment, a hoarse male voice sounded. I have to thank you. Otherwise, I would not have been able to come out. You came to make trouble for I in the middle of the night. This is your thank you gift? Shishang raised his eyebrows. The black cat licked its paws. I'm not here to make trouble for you. I don't want to be your enemy. I'm here for her. Shishang looked in the direction the black cat was looking. It was Chu Miao standing there. Shishang stabbed the iron sword into the ground and said arrogantly, You're the one who was suppressed in the Chu village? The enchantment in Chu family village only allowed outsiders to enter but not exit. However, the descendants of the Chu family could enter and leave as they pleased. At first, she had thought that it was a protective enchantment. However, when she saw the black cat and sensed the faintly discernible evil aura in the Chu family's ancestral hall, she was certain that the Chu family village's enchantment was not meant to protect the descendants of the Chu family, but to imprison them. Humph, if not for those people's tricks, I wouldn't have been suppressed in that place. The black cat's voice was filled with disdain. It doesn't matter if you cheated or not. You were suppressed by someone, so you still lost. Black cat seemed to have been hit in its Achilles heel as its voice grew louder. How can I lose? They are the ones who lost. Ha ha ha, as long as I kill this little girl, no one will be able to suppress me anymore. What secrets does Chu Miao have? Shishang asked directly. I can foresee the scene of the host taking a shortcut to complete the mission again. Everyone else took one step at a time, but its host always skipped the middle and went straight for the final boss. If the boss was killed, what else could the other villains do? Villains probably had a problem with talking too much, and the black cat was no exception. She is Chu Yinin's daughter. If she is dead, no one will be qualified to guard the enchantment of the Chu family village. When the time comes, it will be easy for me to come out. Shishang nodded slightly. The black cat in front of him must be the black cat in front of him. Chu Miao was a descendant of the Chu family village and was responsible for guarding the enchantment. This was a common setting for the female lead. The black cat stared at Shishang, its voice bewitching. There's an evil aura on you. I can feel it. If you can help me, I'll give you half of my empire. How about it? Shishang sneered. Half of the country. Half of what country? Villains were all ambitious, but in the end, they were all stepping stones for the main character. The underworld. Someone wants to steal your job. Shishang turned to look at Gu Yu, a little gloating. This thing was not mentioned in the plot, so it must be a side quest. Gu Yu was the real ultimate villain. A side quest boss dared to say in front of the real boss that he wanted to steal his job. He was asking for a beating. The black cat only noticed Gue Yu after hearing Shi Shang's words. He was standing silently beside Shi Shang, not emitting any aura. However, at this moment, it felt a powerful force emanating from his body, making it unable to resist the urge to submit. The Lord of the Underworld. He was the Lord of the Underworld? How was that possible? The black cat said in fear, "You are Li Jian's son?" Li Jian? Gue Yu murmured, then snorted disdainfully. Who is he? You don't even know Li Jian? He is the Lord of the Underworld. Who are you? How dare you pretend to be the Lord of the Underworld? The black cat raised its voice, becoming neither male nor female. Oh, you are talking about him. Gue Yu seemed to have realized something. He is dead. Wait, what is the relationship between Li Jian and Li Chengyun? Shi Shang interrupted. From their conversation, this Li Jian was the previous lord of the underworld. Then what about the male lead who also had the surname Li? Shi Shang remembered that the plot mentioned that Li Chengyun would become the Ghost King in the end. Why would Li Chengyun want to become the Ghost King? Unless he wasn't human at all. How did Li Jian die? The black cat ignored Shi Shang's question and questioned Gue Yu with a voice that was neither male nor female. I killed him. Gue Yu's tone was calm, as if it was a simple matter. How could you kill Li Jian? Impossible. The black cat didn't believe it. Then do you want him to die? Or do you not want him to die? F***ck, when this retarded cat called Li Jian, it was full of hatred. Now that it knew Li Jian was dead, it roared that it was impossible. Of course I want him to die. The black cat said fiercely, its hatred almost overflowing. But I want him to die by my hands. Then why don't you go dig up his grave and whip his corpse? Shi Shang paused. But if this ghost dies, will there be a corpse? Yes, the Ghost King has a corpse. Gue Yu answered seriously. That's good. You can whip the corpse. Do you want to try? As soon as Shi Shang finished speaking, an angry voice interrupted. Ji Luiying. Li Chengyun's figure quickly rushed in. As soon as he arrived, he heard this woman instigating people to dig up his father's grave. Li Chengyun's figure landed, and a few more shadows appeared one after another in the surroundings. There was a white-haired woman, and on the other side was Li He's people. The current situation was, the black cat was surrounded in the middle. Shi Shang and Gue Yu stood directly in front of the black cat. Chu Miao stood to the side of the black cat, and Li Chengyun stood behind the black cat. The white-haired woman and Li He stood on either side of Li Chengyun. The night wind quietly stopped, and the surroundings were silent. A mocking voice broke the eerie silence. Everyone's here. The meeting is about to begin. Everyone's gaze focused on the speaker. Chapter 899. Shi Shang's words were like a catalyst. It was as if the space that had been frozen by someone suddenly came alive. Everyone's attention was focused on Shi Shang, as if he was a monster. Why are you looking at me? Shi Shang impolitely rolled his eyes. I'm not a boss. You're scarier than a boss. The system added insult to injury. Miss Ji, why are you here? Li He stared at Shi Shang, his eyes full of caution. Li He's mind was filled with questions. Why was this psychopath here? Why did he meet this psychopath? Captain, are you sure you're not secretly in love with this psychopath? Something strange seemed to have sneaked in. Shi Shang sneered. Do I need to report to you where I am? Li He. This girl was poisonous. He only asked casually, and she stabbed him back. Little girl, you won't have any friends if you act like this. Fine, he didn't really want to be friends with her. Ahem. Li He coughed to cover it up. Miss Ji, we're on official business. Please don't interfere. Official business? Shi Shang looked at the black cat. That's it? The black cat's gaze swept over everyone. Its glowing green eyes looked even more treacherous in this situation. It didn't show any signs of panic at the appearance of so many people. It continued to lick its paws unhurriedly. Li He's expression suddenly became serious. It's already harmed many people. This is a serious matter. Miss Ji, please don't kill innocent people for your own selfish reasons. They were following the black cat's trail. They had been monitoring it for a few days, but it escaped several times. They only discovered its identity yesterday. Today, they finally found its trail. He immediately brought people to chase after it. Li He felt that this girl was definitely going to cause trouble, so he had to give her a heads up so that she wouldn't do anything rash. Oh. Shi Shang responded ambiguously. Li He. So what did that "oh" mean? Li He and the others were here for the black cat. Li Changyun and the woman were here for Chu Miao. Miao Miao, come here. The woman's voice was gentle, like a mother coaxing her child. She was very patient. Miao Miao, it's very dangerous over there. Come to mommy's side quickly. This woman was indeed Chu Yinyin, Chu Miao's mother. Chu Miao shook her head and floated directly to the Shi Shang. As soon as she moved, the black cat moved as well. It arched its back and kicked hard with its hind legs, pouncing towards Chu Miao. Miao Miao. Chu Yinin's voice was a little sharp, mixed with fear, and she also shot out. At the same time, Li He and the others moved as well. The only ones who didn't move were Li Changyun and Shi Sheng. Ever since Li Changyun saw Gue Yu, he had maintained the same posture. Under the dim light, it was impossible to see the emotions on his face. However, judging from the aura around him, he should be on the verge of going berserk. As long as there was a fuse, Li Changyun would explode. What enmity do you have with him? Shi Shang looked at Gue Yu and asked very casually. It was as if the person standing in front of him wasn't a dangerous person who was about to go berserk. He had a sense of arrogance that didn't put him in his eyes. Gue Yu tilted his head, a strand of silver hair peeking out from under his hood. He seemed to be thinking about how to answer Shi Shang's question. After a while, he spat out 4 words: the enmity of stealing the throne. Not the enmity of killing his father? Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. Li Changyun was once the Ghost King? But the current Li Changyun was indeed a human. So was he reincarnated? He needed to use the female lead to go back, or to recover his strength. That was pretty much how the novel was set. Gue Yu shook his head and answered seriously, I didn't kill his father. Huh? Didn't you just say that Li Jian died by your hand? How come you didn't kill him? Gue Yu seemed to have guessed what Shi Shang was thinking. He explained softly, Li Jian didn't have any children. He's Li Jian's nephew. Shi Shang, Gue Yu killed Li Jian, but he didn't become the Ghost King. Instead, the male lead, Li Changyun, took advantage of the loophole and beat him to it. But as the villain boss, Gue Yu naturally succeeded in his counterattack. He forced Li Changyun to reincarnate to avoid him, so that he could take the opportunity to go back and take back the Ghost King's position. It had to be said that if Li Changyun hadn't died, the setting of this supernatural novel would have been pretty good. At least it suited the public's tastes. Whatever, I'll kill him first. Shi Shang pulled out his sword and slashed at Li Changyun without warning. Gue Yu was startled by Shi Shang's sudden movement. When he reacted, he immediately followed Shi Shang and attacked Li Changyun together. Li Changyun had a human body after all. Shi Shang couldn't do anything to him. But Gue Yu was different. He was the Ghost King. When the Ghost King attacked, it was obvious whether or not he was strong. Gue Yu flipped Li Changyun to the ground. When he first came to the human world, his main goal was to find her. Meeting Shi Shang was an accident. But he felt that this was a necessary accident. She was like another meaning to his life. She was his belief. Bah! Li Changyun spat out the blood in his mouth. His gaze was dark as he stared at Gue Yu. Gue Yu, do you think you've won? Gue Yu's face was hidden under his hood. The black robe swayed slightly in the wind, making a soft sound. I've given you so much time, but you're still so weak. Li Chengyun's eyes flashed with a vicious light. Gue Yu, were you the one who released 100 ghosts? So what if it was me? Gue Yu's voice seemed to contain a smile, but it made people's scalps tingle. So what if it wasn't me? Despicable. Li Chengyun gritted his teeth. If 100 ghosts hadn't been suddenly released, he wouldn't have been forced by Gue Yu to abandon his real body and fall to his current state. But 100 ghosts had been imprisoned in the 18th layer of hell. He always felt that with Gue Yu's ability at the time, it was impossible for him to release 100 ghosts. Why are you wasting words with him? Hurry up and stab him to death. Villains die from talking too much. Shishang saw that the two were chatting and immediately egged Gue Yu on. What's the point of chatting with the male lead? Talking too much is just stalling for time. If there's a chance to kill him, don't be soft-hearted. Otherwise, you'll be the one to die. In Shishang's dictionary, a secret is more important than life. Okay, I'll listen to you. Gue Yu immediately responded. Her black robe drew a perfect arc in the air. Wind suddenly blew in all directions. The wind was biting cold. Wherever it blew, the leaves were directly torn to shreds. Whoosh! A black shadow shot past Shishang. Shishang instinctively slashed down. The iron sword missed, and the black shadow landed on Li Chengyun's body. In the blink of an eye, it sank into Li Chengyun's chest and disappeared. Li Chengyun's pupils were dyed with a green light. His body suddenly jumped up from the ground. His fingers curled into claws, and he clawed at Gue Yu. This was only a feint. His goal was to leave Gue Yu's range of control. So when Gue Yu dodged, he immediately retreated. His body was slightly bent. His body was agile, and his landing was silent, just like a cat. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.